Welcome back to Purrfect Date. Now, last time we played, I ballsed it. Chapter 3, I decided to not help the kiddies. Immediately, and it was not good. So, I have replayed a new save, doing the exact same thing. I had to watch my own videos to make sure I got the right choices. So, we're going to start Chapter 3 properly. Properly. However, while I was playing, I got when I did the rest option, I got 2 new cutscenes. So, if we don't get any cutscenes when I do the rest option, I will bring up the recording that I did of those rest options so you can see them, so you don't miss out on content, you know. I have been trying my darned best to make sure you guys are not missing anything. I did have a look at like the walkthrough of this game. I learned nothing. I learned $0. The walkthrough I was looking for was confusing. But I feel like, for all that I managed to get from that was, I'm actually gonna have to play this several more times, like the whole thing, to get all the achievements. I'm not gonna make you guys sit through that though. I'll do that in my own time, but I'll let you know. This game is a lot more involved than I thought. Exactly, Mr. Frogman. We got to romance all the kitties. So that's why I went back. Snooty Beauty is a fickle kitty. Yes, she was our love for chapter 2. So we get to find out who our love for chapter 3 is going to be. And I believed I picked this guy before. And we named him Ov. So Ov is coming back and he's going to help the kitties this time. No more ruining this run for achievements. I can get the achievements later. It was a long boat journey. My legs are a bit wobbly as I make my way up the wooden jetty to meet the security guard who has come to collect me. ID? I rummage about in my bag until I find the laminated security pass I was issued with on the mainland. It is Ov. It is now May in game. Come on then, follow me. Thank you, Zane. I have to walk at quite a pace to keep up with him. He's not the social type, so we trek along in silence until we're in camp and outside a large tent. He's waiting for you in there. Glad to have you on board, Ov. Shall we just go through a few formalities and then call it a day so you can get some rest before you start work properly tomorrow? Sure thing, Professor Pauper, you're very sus. We learned that the last person. We learned that with Shades. Sounds good to me, sir. So first, shall we have a little refreshment? Previously we did whiskey, so let's go with I'm parched. Do you have any water? There are natural springs all over the island, but we have the bottled kind too. A bottle of water would be great. I'm not too keen to start drinking from natural water sources until I'm sure that they are not being used as cat urinals. This guy, Ov, has a lot more sense than Autumn did, who, you know, coming across that bit of water immediately went down and drank it. Classic. That was like 2 people ago. We spent the next hour going through my kit, all typical stuff, apart from my super gadget. It's called a catalog, and it does all sorts of swanky things. Even plays music. I met some of the local cats and learned how to scan them with it. It was a lot of fun. Finally, I'm shown to my tent to settle in for the night. While I'm unpacking, I find something very interesting very interesting under my bed. It's the personal journal of the previous research assistant, the one before me. As I read, I begin to discover that there's a lot more going on here than what I was told about. It's hard to believe this stuff is true. Maybe the last researcher was prone to flights of fancy. Still, it makes great bedtime story material, and I stay up reading until my eyelids begin to close. In spite of my best efforts to read to the end, I drift off into a deep sleep. I wake with a start and I hear the rustling of paper coming from the tent flap. It's a cat with something in its mouth. It has the journal. Wait! But it has run off into the night. I'm chasing the cat at full speed into the forest. I must get that book back. It has everything I need to know in it. I start to feel woozy and realize too late that I've strayed into the danger zone. I'm going to be sick. I close my eyes tight and drop to my knees. This was me yesterday in the pharmacy. Except I didn't get attacked by cats afterwards. I open my eyes. A calico cat is standing in front of me. It drops the journal from its mouth. I feel like I want to romance Trixie Lars for being such a little shit. I pass out. Here's the team. Hello, can you hear me? Are you okay? Here we go again. Move back a bit, let them breathe. Has it been bitten? The Sphinx cat is staring over me, staring as I open my eyes. Yes, definitely bitten. Look at its hand. I bring my hand up to my face and through my blurry vision I can make out several deep scratches and puncture marks. The cats watch me intently. Is this real? I saw something in the journal about the journal about kidnapping. Catnapping, nyahaha. We're sorry, it was the only way. My head has begun to clear and I realize that if I can talk to these cats, not only is it all true, but it's already too late. I have the sickness. We need to have a talk, human. No, we don't. I know what's going on. I've got the sickness. That's why I can hear you. Well done. You really did read it. Most of it, yes. So, I wasn't entirely wasting my time. Hang on. You figure it out. It's not my problem anymore. Bye, Shades. The mysterious cat slinks off towards the forest area. Oh, don't worry about them. They're preoccupied elsewhere. So, are you going to help us or not? Yes, I am. Well, of course I am. You need my help, and I need yours if I'm going to find an antidote. Spoken like a true champion. Hey, McMurphy, where's Autumn? You should be with her. Well, let's hope it's third time lucky. Oh my god, Snooty Booty. She's got devil horns. I thought the last one got pretty lucky, actually. Woman cat. Madame Kitty. You're showing your thirst. Unfortunately, the last one didn't get very far with discovering what happened to our friends. They didn't make an antidote either. I think with their notes to build on, I'm gonna crack this. Well, I promise to give it my best shot at least. Hurrah! Respect. Hey, Kibbles actually likes us. Jolly good show. Snooty looks thirsty. I know. Goddamn. My catalogue starts beeping, but right now I have to get to work. She was down bad. I'm just about to enter the lab to begin my legitimate work when the catalogue beeps. A message without any contact information. This I'm curious about. I don't like this. Loose lips sink ships. I remember reading something about messages in the journal, but I was so sleepy last night I don't recall what it was. I decided to ignore the mystery messenger for now, or I'll be late for work. The professor is already working when I arrive, but I'm not late, so there's no fuss. I get through the day as efficiently as possible and head back to my tent as soon as my work is done. I want to get to grips with finding out all I can as soon as possible. Alright guys, it's romance time! Who do we have? Floofy Butt or Trixie? I'm going for Floofy Butt, I told you. At this rate, Trixie is in my goddamn bad books. And plus, Floofy Butt is the star. He's on like the cover and everything. We gotta go for him. I'm not sure what to expect. I've come to the forest with Floofy Butt for what I assumed would be a pleasant way to spend my afternoon off work. But I have now discovered that he's billing it as an unfortunate afternoon of instruction and practical participation. Floofy, please! That sounds suspiciously like a lecture to me. Oh well, as Professor Pauper would say, a scientist must keep an open mind. This is something I would normally do alone, but you strike me as a like-minded soul, interested in both gastronomic and anatomic pleasures. Anatomic pleasures, eh? Perhaps now would be a good time to lay down the blanket. Perhaps now would be a good time to lay down the blanket I asked you to bring. We don't want to put that tender skin of yours under duress. Floofy, please, what are you saying? I laid the blanket on the ground awkwardly. I wonder where he's going with this. Relax, Ov. This doesn't usually take very long. Suddenly, without warning, there's a loud plop as a bird plummets out of the sky onto the blanket. Wait, a bird? Told you so! Oh my, it's dead. No! As a doornail! But what happened to it? Just the force of it, of course. Now enough foolish questions of, let's get started, shall we? But how did he get into the area? Floofy, I've got questions. Foolish or not, I need to know. Just like the lecturers from my university. Or uni, as it says. What exactly are we doing here, Floofy Butt? I told you, don't use that ridiculous name. I prefer Major, if you please. What exactly are we doing here, Major? This is my little surprise. I'm a bird fancier. Most people who fancy birds look at them through binoculars. Not wait for them to hit a force field, die, and fall out of the sky. Oh, and you fancy your birds dead? Quite! All the better to practice my other pursuit. Eating birds? I know I'm going to regret asking this, but what pursuit would that be, Major? I'm a self-taught pathologist. I didn't expect that. I have many questions. The amount of questions that I have just keeps growing. Sorry, you mean as in post-mortem? Somewhat rudimentary, don't you know, but I can now find my way around the innards of the average seagull with remarkable dexterity. The way you're looking at me here, Major, is now threatening. Yes, well, whatever floats your boat. I'm interested in crossword puzzles myself. Not everyone's cup of tea, but it occupies a wet afternoon. Why did you say it like that? Why? Sorry, I'm wiggling the desk. Okay, back to the task at hand of... I shall now begin the autopsy. Keep your wits about you, there will be questions at the end. Aha, I knew this was a lecture. Fluffy Butt pings out a razor-sharp claw and begins to go to town on the bird. Blur that. I'm so... I did not... Incision from the sternum to... Why did I do that? I've had worse things on the stream. I didn't expect the actual dead bird. On first examination, the skeleton appears to be typical. I note there is no break in the neck, indicating that the force field rather than the fall killed the bird. You're going to lurk now, Mr. Frogman? No worries. I'm going to stop my ridiculousness and put Delilah back where she was. I feel rather queasy. You're a scientist, sir. Also, when did his head become ripped off? Oh, really? Yes, point of interest. Sometimes the initial zap the bird receives from flying into the force field merely stuns them, and it is the impact of the fall which provides the fatal blow. This chap, however, appears to have suffered cardiac arrest. You can see from the size, or lack thereof, of the heart that even a minor jolt could be enough to induce seizure. Having removed the tiny organ, Major has now begun digging around inside the carcass as though rummaging in a lucky dip. Now removing entrails for further examination. Jesus Christ. This is supposed to be a romance game. Oh, do get a better look of. It's rather revealing. I can see something in the stomach sack. His lunch? Stomach sack? It looks like... Oh my, it's gold. Our lucky day. Oh, here, have a look. It's some kind of nugget. A chicken nugget? No thank you, Major. I'm not in the mood for playing with the contents of a seagull's stomach. Don't be ridiculous. This is not a game of... May I remind you that we're in the middle of a very serious post-mortem. I would have called it an autopsy. And I expect you, as my assistant, to maintain professionalism. My stomach is doing flips as I hold the object between thumb and forefinger. What is this thing? It's so small. It kind of looks like a... Cripes! It's a tooth, Major. It's a golden tooth. Ah, good find. You're a natural. I can't help but wonder why a seagull... I'm just going to restart this. I can't help but wonder why a seagull would have a golden tooth in its stomach. Presumably, Major, this is from the mouth of a human. I think you're probably right. He looks so happy and excited. So how did it get in the seagull? What an inquiring mind. You would make an excellent apprentice. If you like, I could pass on to you the skills I have required. That would be a feather in your cap, eh? I resign myself to the fact that he's not going to be drawn into speculation. Okay, well, I'll bear that in mind, Major. I don't have the heart to tell him that I came top of my class at veterinary surgery, and you're queasy about this? I mean, it's kind of odd that a cat is doing it, I guess, but dude. Oh, Major, please. And now to the victor, the spoils. Don't be shy, I've already carved. Oh gosh, do you mean? Of course, tuck in. We won't stand on ceremony here. It's a good one too. Plenty of fat. Sir, I'm a vegetarian. No, I'm not gonna. I'm so sorry. I am not eating the bird. I'm making excuses. Game! The fluff! There is no way that is going to happen. I don't want to hurt his feelings, but equally, I can't afford to be laid up with salmonella poisoning through people pleasing. Cat pleasing, even. Oh, no, silly me. I didn't realize we'll be having lunch, and I ate before we came out here. Well, just a taste then. Oh, Major, tempting though it looks, I simply couldn't touch a single bite. I have anxiety with these situations in real life. I don't need them in my cat dating game because he wants me to eat seagull. Sir, please, I'm stressed. Nonsense of, I insist. I would feel a very poor host indeed if my guests refused my hospitality. Did you do this with anybody else? Well, I'm like the 127th, scientist here. Did you do this to any of the others? Major, Flippy Butt, I have so many questions. I am terrified. Oh no, this is going to be harder than I thought. Flippy Butt is standing in front of me, presenting what looks like a tiny liver on the palm of his paw. I need to think fast. Oh, that's my catalogue! I can't hear any. It's on vibrate. The professor is calling. What bad timing. Can you believe it? I'm going to have to head off. But our fees. I'm so sad that you're sad. Enjoy it, dude. Please, for the both of us. I'm going to become a vegetarian in-game. Such a shame. So sorry. Please go ahead without me. Oh, another time. I have made him so sad. I have made him so sad. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm tempted to make excuses, but notice the eager look on his little face and feel a pull on my heartstrings. Oh yes, without a doubt, another time. Then I toast to your health. The Major pops the liver into his mouth and starts cat chewing in a very unattractive way. I realize I'm staring and I catch myself. Enjoy! Bon appetit! Bye! I make a swift and graceless retreat. I'm not getting perfect scores with these, but I could not. Let's do some research. Research 1. The professor has assigned me to work on a special subject. Quotation marks. I wonder what he means by that. Frankly, I think it better not be the seagull though. I have a very important job for you today. It's quite a tricky one, but you've proven yourself to be very capable, and I'm certain you can handle it. Follow me. I have a little lady I'd like you to meet. The professor leads me to the research lab in the forest, but instead of going in, he takes me to an area around the back. What? This is our brave little nugget Ravenpaw. She has to be isolated over here, don't you, Missy? One second. Okay, don't you, Missy? That's the end of the sentence. Very quickly, why is she outside by herself? Why isn't she indoors, covered, and a bigger space? This is not nice. The professor reaches into the cage, which is stood on a table, and picks up the tiny black cat that's sleeping inside. She's got pretty eyes. Such a good girl, aren't you? We keep it here, away from the others, because the poor thing is very unwell. Can you see this nasty rash? What, the one like Socks has? Professor Purrfect holds out one of the cat's paws for me to inspect. I'm now not trusting. I'm now back on my don't trust his mother trucker. It's red and swollen. Ravenpaw looks at me with her big watery eyes, one blue, one brown. Hey, David Bowie. I know we had this conversation in the first part that David Bowie didn't technically have two different coloured eyes. It was like the size of the iris, but you know. They're probably worrying because of the medication she's on, but it makes her look as if she's pleading with me. She doesn't seem to be able to eat without assistance either, poor thing. We've been treating her as best we can, but I'm not sure she'll make it. Perhaps not even to the end of the week. The professor lets out a sad sigh. I think you're faking this. Oh, also, nice sad smile here, buddy. That's a I have my you can't see me, but I'm just narrowing my eyes each time this guy talks. I have my fingers crossed though. We don't give up on any of these cats. Do we, Ravenpaw? No, we don't. We're gonna try and get you all better. She's such a pretty cat. Her eyes are enchanting, aren't they? She is a very pretty cat indeed, and she knows it too. You can tell. You know what a pretty thing you are, don't you? I reach out to stroke Ravenpaw, but she struggles away from my hand. Ah, she's getting cranky. I think we've kept Grumpy Pants here awake for long enough. My goodness. He puts her gently back into the cage and locks it shut. Ravenpaw seems to fall asleep instantly. I hope I didn't distress her. Of course not, She's usually very wary of humans before she gets to know them. When I first found the poor thing on the beach, she almost scratched my eyes out, in spite of the terribly fragile state she was in. The professor smiles at the memory. Such a little trooper. She was half dead at first. She's gotten a lot better since then. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see her pull through this. I hope so, Professor. Quite. Now, the reason I brought you here is because, regrettably, I won't be able to see Ravenpaw personally any longer. It's a pity as she's so used to me now, but there's nothing for it. Now, why is that? Is that the delivery that you got last time? I've been given an extra workload recently, and I need to share out a few of my odd jobs to accommodate it. She's an odd job? Don't be so rude to her. I thought you would be the ideal person to look after Ravenpaw for me. I'm taken aback that the professor has trusted me with such responsibility. It's quite flattering, until I remember that he doesn't have much choice, me being the only assistant on the island. Every day she requires a change of dressing, a dose of medication, some cream rubbed into her rashes, and a syringe full of some nutrient milk. This can be quite distressing for her, so I'd like someone with a nice and patient manner to take over from me. Would you be interested Yeah, getting rid of the cream immediately. Of course, sir. I'd love to help out in any way I can. That's what I'm here for. Oh, splendid. I'm so glad. I think you and Ravenpaw will get along famously before too long. She has such a sweet nature. I look forward to it, sir. Could you start now? Of course. Tip-top. I shall be in the lab if you need me for anything. Please don't be afraid to give me a shout. I'm terribly sorry to burden you with this so suddenly, but I have such a lot of work to do right now. Okay, Professor. I feel a little apprehensive as I watch Professor Purrfect retreat into the lab. I didn't realize I'll be expected to do everything right now, without training or anything. I remind myself that this isn't like the ordinary lab back home. I must try to adapt to the higgledy-piggledy way things are done here. I butchered that. I take a deep breath. Change of dressing, I can do that. Hello, pretty kitty. I'm sorry, but I have to disturb you. The small cat lets out a sad mew as I lift her out of the cage. Oh, I know, life is unfair. Now, where are your dressings? I put Ravenpaw next to the cage on the table. She lays down compliantly. She obviously knows the routine. She has a large bandage on the side of her ribs. I begin to gently remove it, trying hard not to pull her skin too much. Well, I suppose if we're going to be doing this every day, we might as well get to know each other, right? So, hello, my name is Ov. I'm quite new here. I know your name already, Ravenpaw. Nice name. I bet the professor named you. He certainly knows how to pick them, doesn't he? The cat tenses as I remove the last of the plaster and reveal a scar on a patch of bare skin where the professor had shaved her for surgery. Oh dear, that scar looks very tender. Should I clean it? Is that right, Ravenpaw? Let me look. There are some drawers under the table, and I quickly find some antiseptic gel and cotton pads. Now, Ravenpaw, I'm going to level with you. This is going to sting a bit, but please don't take it out on me. I'm doing this for your own good, okay? Trust me, you don't want this scar to become infected. That will be disastrous. The cat stays perfectly still while I wipe at her scar. She doesn't even make a sound. I have to say, I'm impressed and a little disquieted. Wow, you're a brave girl, aren't you? Well done. When I was a child, I cut my arm on some thorns and had to have antiseptic put on it. As I remember, I screamed the house down. I carefully put on a clean bandage, trying hard not to stick it to her fur. I suppose the medication comes next, doesn't it? What do we have here? I look through the drawers and find a box of pre-filled syringes labeled catatonic. Oh, I presumed you'll be taking tablets, but of course. The professor said you were having trouble with solids, weren't you? Poor thing. I know I read it wrong, but I committed to me being incorrect. Okay, same thing as last time. Don't shoot the injector. I hold the skin on the back of Ravenpaw's neck tight and go to inject it quickly to get it over with, but the syringe is stiff and it takes a lot longer than I expected. Again, the little cat makes no response, doesn't move a muscle, almost as if she can't feel it. Good girl. Gosh, you were so tough. You know, I bet you and McMurphy would get on like a house on fire. Ravenpaw's ears prick up as if she's heard a rattlesnake. McMurphy is one of the coolest people. I mean, I was a little wary at first, but he has that Irish charm that's so hard to resist. The tiny cat's head spins up to look at me. How do you know he's Irish? My poor girl. My heart lurches into my throat. Have you got it? You have, haven't you? You're sick. You've got sickness. I'm going to make the joke again. Babe, I'm down with it. I have a million questions running through my head, but I'm unable to speak. Listen to me, human, you must help me. I suddenly jolt to my senses. I'm trying to help you, Ravenpaw. Please, don't use the cream on me. It burns. It has given me these red patches. That's what I goddamn thought. I know it hurts, but I have to rub it into your wounds. Those red patches will get dry and itchy and even infected otherwise. No, please, I beg you, human, that stuff doesn't help. It doesn't. It hurts. I know it feels that way, but it's helping you, I promise. The professor has been caring for you so thoroughly since he found you. I'd get the sack if your treatment went downhill now. That man only ever hurt me. Oh, no. I'm taken aback. The professor cares for you very much and only wants you to get better. The cat turns her face away as if she's given up hope. It pulls at my heartstrings and I pause for a moment. I'm going to stop her treatment. I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm taking a big leap here. I'm going to give you 5 days without this cream. If I see any deterioration in your condition, it's back to a strict regime for you, Missy. And no complaints. Deal? Thank you, human. I saw what happened to Socks. I am... Oh, I got an achievement. I got a whole bunch of question marks. And we unlocked Research 3. I feel so bad for the poor little girl. Recon time! Okay, we still got Recon 6. And Recon 11. We'll do the pink letters. I can't stop thinking about those important, fragrant pink letters Zane mentioned. I've got to get my hands on one. It's very funny because that was in the first chapter. I squeezed through the sequence one more time. I know it by heart, but I'm nervous. I've been watching long enough to be sure that the routine is just like clockwork. No deviations, well, apart from one, and I've made that work for me. So the boat arrives at 1300 hours. Zane, always alone, talks to the older man, Bob, who hands over the post, while the younger of the two, Joe, loads up the dolly with boxes of supplies. Zane puts the envelopes, never more than 3, into the breast pocket of his jacket. That solves the mystery of why he always overdresses when the boat comes in. He then wheels the dolly into the mess tents and unloads the food supplies, then to the lab and unloads the medical supplies, then to the storage hut where he unloads the remaining packages and leaves the dolly. Next, he goes to Professor Purrfect's tent. If the professor is in, he hands over 2 of the envelopes, keeping the third, his puzzler, in his jacket pocket. If, however, the professor isn't in his tent, Zane makes his way down to his chair on the dock, drapes his jacket over the back of it, and spends the afternoon on his puzzles before going back again in the evening to deliver the professor's mail. He never lets the envelopes out of his jacket pocket or the jacket out of his sight, so my only opportunity would be to pickpocket the security guard when he takes the jacket off, but that relies on Professor Purrfect not being in his tent. Luckily, I've ensured, with the help of my feline friends, that the professor will be held up during his out-of-grounds inspection. Usually, Purrfect just meanders around the inner perimeter of the base camp area and checks that all is well. Most days, everything is, but today, Kibbles and Trixie have staged a little rumpus that will engage him for just enough time to miss Zane's delivery. He is, of course, sat in his usual place, jacket draped over his chair. Hi there, Zane! 127? I was right, I was number 127. I suppose we're on first name terms now. I have a little something for you. He frowns but doesn't look at me. His eyes are instead where they always are, on his crossword. I've made you a puzzle. He eyes me skeptically. A crossword, to be exact. It's pretty tricky if I do say so myself. I created the puzzle using all of the cat's general knowledge. Major and McMurphy thought of some particularly treacherous teasers, while Kibbles and Trixie offered some great pop culture questions. Snooty Booty was mostly trying to get cat treats out of my pocket. I hand the paper to Zane, who's still frowning. This Dick's having a whale of a time? Is this a joke? Oh, it gets harder. Zane peers over the crossword. Why did you make this for me? Well, you know how bored I get, and I like you, Zane. Zane breaks into the first smile I've seen on his face, although small and slightly uncomfortable looking. I don't have anything for you. Yes, he's warming to me. The plan is going spiffingly. Oh, don't worry about that. All I want for you is to complete it. I make my hands into a heart shape while Zane is distracted. I feel stupid, but McMurphy insisted that that would be my signal for him to strike. And sure enough, along he slinks, cool as anything. He winds his feline body between Zane's legs unnoticed. Zane's tongue is now sticking out and his shoulders are hunched in concentration. He's stuck already? I dart a look at McMurphy to get ready to make his move. He throws me a disconcerting wink. It's not that hard, just this one about the archetypal counterpart to yandere. Oh, well, we got the yandere reference. One second. I need a sippy sip of water. Oh yes, that's quite niche. Thanks for that one, Kibbles. Kibbles? Kibble. Is Kibbles a weeb? Is he the weeb cat? Ooh, something to look forward to. While I engage Zane, I can see that McMurphy has already reached up as though stretching against the chair and nudged his nose into the breast pocket of the jacket. Oi! Shoo! Get out of it! I see McMurphy scamper off and my heart sinks. Anyway, I'll check back later to see how you're getting on with it. Zane grunts in response. I walk back dejectedly to where McMurphy and I agreed to meet after our mission was over, and suddenly my spirits lift at the sight of a little pig corner peeking out from under the designated rock. McMurphy! What a boss! You're a star! There's no end to my talents. That's right, sir. I snatch up the envelope and say goodbye to McMurphy and head to the privacy of my tent. I examine my trophy while the kettle boils. I am touched by the pretty pink envelope and delicate fragrance and suddenly feel embarrassed. Am I prying to the professor's love affair? What has gotten into me? Getting notions of secret goings on and subterfuge. No. We know that we know there's a conspiracy afoot. Read the letter. And if it's porn, great. I don't know what's gotten into me. I am about to put the letter back when I'm overwhelmed by curiosity. I wonder who the professor's secret love could be. What are they like? Woman, man, other? Before I can contain myself, I have steamed open the flap and peeking inside. It's not at all what I expect, and my previous suspicions come flooding back. Knew it. This paper is in stark contrast to the pretty pink wrapping. It is a typed message on white paper. Percival, I have been informed of your latest subject. I would rather hear about such things from you personally. It would not be wise to take my silence for authorization. Please keep this in mind for future transactions. I will let this indiscretion slide, but if it is ever repeated, I will have no choice but to deal with you the way I dealt with 124. That was one before Autumn. As for the project, case study number 6 is asthenic. Please act accordingly. P103 has been unsuccessful. Avoid any further investigations. Shit, which one was that one? Oh, I can't remember what P103 was. Oh, nuggets. Lab 09 has received the newest batch. Protocol to begin on the 8th. Finally, a trusty new assistant has arrived and is proving to be more helpful than the previous one. Shades! We seem to have a run of bad luck in that particular area. As you know, I do not abide bad luck, and will expect a reversal of fortune post haste. Faithfully yours, 7. Dun dun dun. Well, we're gonna have a rest. Ooh. There are waves crashing. The sound is so loud. I can't make myself be heard, but I still scream into the life raft that is moving away from the sinking ship. I'm going down with this ship. I'm being thrashed against the sides of the old wooden vessel. This isn't right. The ship looks wrong. A cat's face looms up close to mine. Everything is wrong. All of it. Oh, is that supposed to be the captain? Which cat are you? But the words come out of my mouth as mewling, and I realize I'm not myself. I'm some kind of beast. Suddenly I'm flying. I'm in the claws of some enormous bird. The beating wings are deafening. I look down to see the ground approaching really fast. You can drop through the break. What does that mean? What break? What break? Breakfast, rise and shine. Weird. Well, I don't get to show you in the previous cutscenes, but I will. All right, romance time. We've unlocked Ravenpaw as an option. Oh my god! Okay, we have to do her next. I feel like Trixie is going to be last. Do hold your hand still, Ov. I can hardly see a thing with you shaking like that. I hold the binocular stable in front of Fluffy Butt's tiny cat face. He looks ridiculous. It's not like you're even trying, Ov. You're shaking like a leaf. My hands are totally steady, Major. Ever consider it could just be your eyesight? I have the keen eyes of a goat. Do goats have good eyesight? I need to know this. 1 second. I'm going to do a quick Google search. I wonder how many people have Googled this. Oh, it is believed that they have roughly 20/50 vision. However, at night this reduces to 2250. Fascinating. I don't know what that means. Goats aren't exactly known for their vision, Major. Well, I didn't need to Google it. The answer was going to be here. That's just because the world is full of ignorami. It's like origami, but ignorami. Well, what can you see? I see a couple of mules lazing about, of course, scratching at their fleas. Filthy things, I tell you. Aha! They're just having a little sleep. What? One of the bigger ones is emptying its bladder. That can mean that they do eat and drink on a regular schedule. Thanks, Major. And if we're able to find out where their water supply is, we could lace it with a mild sedative and bring the incapacitated sample to the beach. And please don't finish that sentence. No cats will be harmed during this mission. Oh, please, the subject will not be harmed, just slightly bewildered for a day or two. But why, Major? Well, to examine it for a start. I'd like to see how they react when one of theirs goes missing for a change. Major, I only agreed to help you with this on the promise that you will not attempt to exact any kind of retribution on the elders. Examination is one thing, but if you can't keep your end of the deal, then I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to withdraw. Okay, I'll just observe. I replace the binoculars in front of Flippy Butt's keen goat eyes. Okay, we're back. Kind of. I'm still snacking. Well, what do we have here? Found something? I do believe I have. There's a few elders here who seem to be meditating. Meditating? Are you sure they're just not sleeping? Take a look, will you? Tell me they aren't meditating. Oh my god. It's a cult! I adjust the binoculars to suit my eyes and am quite taken aback by what I see. Flippy Butt is right. The cats aren't sleeping. They are sitting in a circle around what is by far one of the stranger landmarks on the island. A large state of Bastet, sorry. Maybe it's supposed to be statue of Bastet. Or it could be, Professor Pawpaw has always dodged my questions about what on earth a statue of the Egyptian cat goddess of war is doing on this island. I'm even more intrigued now. The cats seem to be listening, or contemplating, or even meditating. No, this is like in Elder Scrolls. They're getting their orders from the Night Mother, from the statue, to complete their assassinations. Good times. I'm joking. They're not. Or maybe. Well, Major, I'm sure there's a perfectly good explanation for their behavior. Cats often behave quite strangely, I found. Well, there's strange, and then there's strange. And my experience teaches me that the type of strangeness that this class are afflicted with is beyond acceptable. I believe the only way to protect us all is total disassociation. What are you doing, little bee? Sorry, I gave her a treat during the break. I'm just making sure that she's all good. Because I was hoping she would stay with me in the office. Major, do you hear yourself? We're here, practically trespassing on their territory so that you can spy on them while they're doing whatever it is they're doing, and you want disassociation from them? One must know one's enemy of. How are they your enemy, Major? They've never done anything to you, unlike me. Oh no. Those Muellers are wholly responsible for the problems on this cursed island, and it's about time they were held accountable. They are the carriers of the cat virus. If it weren't for them, you wouldn't be afflicted with the illness. I don't like the undertones of this plotline. Oh, is that so? Because I distinctly remember that it was you lot who deliberately put me in danger in the first place. The elders are just cats. Sorry, the elders are cats. Just cats. Just cats, eh? Oh, I see. I've realized what I've just said, and although I didn't intend it that way, the Major has taken it. And although I didn't intend the way the Major has taken it, I can see how wounded he is. I feel conflicted. On the one hand, I want to take a stand against his bigotry. It is not helping our progress, and I believe it may end up ruining our friendship. On the other hand, I know he has a good heart. As Trixie says, he's just stuck in his ways, and it will be wrong of me to start pushing my views onto him. Maybe I can lead by example and practice a little more tolerance myself. Now this is going to be, I'm going to probably ruin this. I'm probably going to ruin this story because I actually cannot think of which one I should pick. I am going to stand up for what I believe in. If I ruin it, I'm so sorry. You know exactly what I mean, Major. Don't add me to your list of enemies. Oh no, you're not my enemy of. I'm just very disappointed to find out that you were as gullible as the others, believing those creatures to be harmless, that we ought to embrace them with open arms. Those creatures? Major, please, you must stop this ridiculous thinking, or I may have to disassociate myself from you. Oh, really? I do not understand how such a seemingly intelligent human can be so narrow-minded. I could say the very same about you, Major. Me, narrow-minded? I have never heard anything more ludicrous. I have a voracious appetite for knowledge. For the things that interest you. Well, yes, but isn't that the case for all of us? As a scientist, I need to explore beyond what I want to know, beyond what suits my sensibilities. Well, here I am exploring what I don't like one bit. He has a smug look on his face that is very annoying. Have you ever tried communicating with the elders? Flippybutt scoffs loudly. Those Muellers do not share our language of. How exactly do you expect me to communicate with them? The very notion is laughable. Oh, is it? Here I am, Major, a human, having a two-way, somewhat intelligent discussion with a cat. Is that not laughable too? Flippybutt goes uncharacteristically quiet. I sense I've hit a nerve and decide to retreat. Perhaps we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one, Major, or we'll fall out entirely. Damn it. Quite. Thank you for joining me today, but I can manage from here. Your assistance is no longer required. I want to Alt F4 so I can go back to when it last saved. But I'll stick with my decisions. Oh, okay, Major. I'll just put your binoculars here then, shall I? As you wish. I place them on a little patch of grass and step away. Flippybutt eyes them, and I watch his expression change as his dilemma dawns on him. He decides not to attempt using them while I'm watching. I'll leave you to it then? Yes, thank you, but I'm fine now. I shall be doing other reconnaissance, and I'm better off alone. I feel bad for him and don't want us to part on an argument. I'm on feeding duty today. I'll keep something back for you. Come and find me later when you feel hungry. Thank you, Ov. Good afternoon. Oh, I've ruined it! No! Balls! I wanted to romance all the kitties. Damn it. He's clearly going to take a while to get over this, and I don't want to make things worse, so without saying another word, the tabby and I part ways. As I make my way back, he better not be captured. No! Oh no! As I make my way back to camp, I go over what happened between us, wondering if I could have handled Major better. Although I may have hurt his feelings, I feel satisfied that tough love was the right way to go. There's no way our friendship could progress without honesty and respect. I have every faith in him, and that he'll come by later when his stomach's rumbling. I've committed. Oh. Let's do another romance. We've been walking for ages, Major. I don't have much longer before they'll expect me back. Almost there. It needs to be as close to the danger zone as possible to deter snoopers. Few cats and even fewer humans come out this far, which ensures that my deposits are safe. Your poop. Deposits? Oh, maybe I got it right. This is an act of trust, you understand? I believe that our recent disagreement and resulting reconciliation has made our bond of camaraderie stronger than ever, and I would like to solidify our reunion with the sharing of something quite private and important to me. Your poop? I feel slightly awkward and mumble incoherently in response. Yes. Well, what's past is past. Water under the bridge and all that. I'm delighted, though, that you have reviewed and modified some of your stronger opinions, Major. Updated your map, so to speak. Indeed, though, for the record, I'm still uneasy about the mule elders. But I grant that finding a way to speak to them might provide more insight than I assumed. Well, we're really on the same page now, Major. We come to a halt, and I can smell the pungent scent of the elder cats. I've not been this close to them since that first night, and it makes me uncomfortable. But I feel surprisingly reassured to be with Fluffy Butt. I was getting some weird messages, and I just needed to deal with them. We're all good though. I have not been this close to them since that first night, and it makes me uncomfortable, but I feel surprisingly reassured to be with Floopy Butt. This is it. We must be completely silent now, so you'll have to cease that unattractive sound you're making. I'm out of breath, Major. I can't help it. What I'm about to show you has taken a long time and a lot of effort on my part. If anyone else should get a wind of its whereabouts, or even its existence. Yes, okay, Major, I get it. I swear the most prestigious of pinky promises that I will not utter a single word to anyone about whatever I see here today. That's a strong vow. Fluffy Butt seems satisfied and makes an effort to straighten himself out before motioning towards a large tree. Ahem. This, my dear, is my treasure. Oh my goodness, what a handsome tree you have there, Major. Very tall and proud looking. Congratulations. Oh, for goodness sake, come over here. Fluffy Butt leads me around the enormous tree to its hidden side, which has a large hollow in it that looks like it leads to a tunnel. Oh, good God, man. Are you digging an escape route out of here? What on earth are you twittering about? Use your eyes more and your mouth less, my dear. I noticed then that hidden in the dark recess of the tree is the outline of a large object which my eyes won't allow me to see clearly. What is it, Major? Don't be shy of. Get in there and have a proper look. I have no choice but to crawl into the cavity for closer inspection. I run my fingers over the item and deduce that it is made out of old, splintering wood and has cold metal adornments on either side. I use them to drag it out of the tree, and in the half light, I'm somewhat unsurprised to see that it is an old-fashioned treasure chest. Another one! I would expect nothing less from the Major. Fluffy Butt is looking at me expectantly, also threateningly. Well, open it, my dear. You needn't worry about the lock. It's quite broken. I do as instructed. Oh, my giddy aunt. Major, how on earth? The chest is full to the brim of all sorts of shiny things. Jewelry, gems, coins, trinkets, ornaments, baubles, and all matter of curios. Fluffy Butt lets out a low laugh. Allow me to regale you, human, with my vast adventures and conquests. I settle down and allow Major's voice to wash over me as I play with some of the items of frippery from the chest. Ah, that coin you're holding. There's a very interesting story attached to that. Do you know how old it is of? I do believe the date on it should still be legible. I remember the night I found it. I had gone for a walk along the beach. It was blustery and dark. I feel for the first time how exhausted I am. The walk has sapped me of all my energy. And as I fought with the elements, I look ahead and I notice the sky is much darker. I'm laying down, although I don't remember doing so. Valiant and victorious to thunderous applause. I hear a low grumbling sound. Thunder? And a flashing behind my now closed eyes. Surely it's a storm, but there's no rain. That's odd. No wet. Just warm and dry and hard to breathe. And I bellowed defiantly, "You cannot have them!" But the mules were already encircling. I should really get up now. Oh, it seems my eyes won't open. That's a pity. As I bit into the still beating heart, I do believe I'm paralyzed. That is a shame. I try to move my fingers. Nope, they're not listening to me. I'm drugged. Fleur. Wake up, we have to get you out of here this instant. Up again. That's it, come on. As I come to, the world looks dark and distorted. I must be walking because the trees are passing my line of vision. My hands hurt. I look down at them and they are pressed firmly to the earth, one moving in front of the other. I must be crawling? I don't know how much time has passed, but I wake up on the sand. I inspect my blistering hands. Flippybud is sitting next to me, facing the sea. Did I dream all that? Oh, you're awake. No, I'm afraid you weren't dreaming. What happened? It was my fault. I took you too close to the danger zone, and in your current state, you couldn't handle it. In my current state? Your feline transition is still in its early stages. It seems to be progressing particularly slowly in you. So I'm still very vulnerable to the effects of the Elder Territory. Quite. I was foolish. I didn't think. I was too interested in myself. My story is my treasure to protect you properly. Please forgive me. Great, another choice and I don't know which one to pick. It's fine. Oh, it's okay, Major. Don't upset yourself. I had a lot of fun until the whole blackout thing. Flippybutt looks genuinely pleased. Really? I have been told I'm a very good raconteur. I don't know. One of the best. How much did you hear? I'm sorry? How many of my antidotes did you hear before you succumbed? I would be happy to repeat anything you missed. Oh, no, really, Major. I'm fairly certain I heard them all. Well, if you're quite sure? I am, but besides, I think I have a migraine coming on. No, I wanted to hear him! Damn it! Well, in that case, you must allow me to nurse you until you are fully recovered. Okay, Major, it's a deal. Major? Yes? Why do I have earrings in my hair? I had to pelt you with jewelry to get you to wake up. Ah, of course. If you don't mind, Major, I think I need to get back to sleep. I lay back down on the warm sand and curl into a ball. I'll be here when you wake up. I drift off and dream that I'm a cat. I hope I did the right thing. Alright, let's do some more research. Research 3. I've been warned that despite their small size, these kittens eat like horses. I'm sure I can handle it though. Feeding duty. It's too early. The world isn't meant to be seen before 7 o'clock. These early mornings are still a shock to me, but I'm hitting my stride quicker. I like to get the kittens fed and cleaned out before my breakfast. It's easier to do it before the rest of the camp is awake, as there are less distractions. I prepare the mush and my stomach turns at the milky smell so early in the day. I get the swab tray ready and a handful of kitty treats. Hello, babies! I peer into the cage of the sleeping kittens. So cute! They're just waking up and ready for breakfast. I do a quick head count. 12, good, no one tunneled out in the night. Come on then, let's get you swabbed and fed. Om nom nom. I grab the first sleepy kitten, no more than a ball of fluff, and as it opens its mouth to yawn, I dart in with the swab, bottle it, and onto the next furball. You're getting good at this. Thanks, Trixie. Oh, Trix, you're up early. Going to bed late, actually. I keep swabbing, and in no time I've got all 12 little cats into the feeding cage and have begun cleaning out the sleeping area. Aw, cute! How long will they stay here for? I'm not sure. They're generally kept here for about 10 weeks, and then some are released back into the wild immediately, but some are moved to be examined further. I'm still getting the hang of how it all works around here. It's a shame that they aren't all released, isn't it? Yes, I suppose so, but they'll all be released eventually, just some later than others. You think so? Well, yes, unless they're very poorly, like Ravenpaw. Trixie winces at the mention of the black cat's name. Very few of those kittens actually get released into the world of... What do you mean? Of course they do, as long as they're healthy. Oh wow, and you know this, do you? You release them yourself? Well, no. But Professor Purrfect told me that kittens get discharged at between 10 to 12 weeks. Do you think Ravenpaw is subject 124? Well, assistant 124? Oh, I see. Trixie smiles, but it looks fake. If I were you, I'd tag one of this litter. Oh no, they're too young for tagging. You have to wait until they're at least 12 weeks. That one over there, he looks very healthy. I'm sure if you tagged him, you'll be able to see for yourself what happens to the healthy kittens. As I go to answer, I hear the breakfast bell in the distance. Oh, Cinderella has to fly! And the calico cat is gone as quickly as she appeared. Come on then, kitties. Let's get you back into your nice clean cage. I can't help but think of what Trixie has said. She seemed genuinely concerned, and there must be some basis for that. After all, she's been here longer than me. Maybe tagging one of these kittens wouldn't be a bad idea. What would be the harm? I'm gonna tag. Come on then, back to... But before I've even finished my sentence, my hand has grabbed the chipping pen and I've tagged the plump grey male. Probably silly, but it won't harm you and it could teach me something useful. Tag! I tagged a little kitten and I've got research 7. Alright, we're gonna do some rest. Oh, another thing. Hey! It's these guys. I've decided to use my Sunday off to try my luck at treasure hunting. There must be untold riches in these shipwrecks that the Major hasn't gotten his paws on yet. When I was a kid, I used to love mudlarking on the banks of the Thames. How different could this be? I don't know what mudlarking is either. As I approach the nearest wreck, I hear the sound of hushed arguing. There are only a couple of cats I can think of who would be all the way out here at this time. I know McMurphy is relaxing near the mist tent, hoping that Mr. Marigold will take pity on him and feed him a bit of tuna. Major is asleep in the forest. I checked on him on my way here. As far as I know, none of the other cats ever bothered with this place. So that leaves the elusive, quarreling captains. I decide to lie low and see if I can make out what's being said. But that's a whole crate of grog gone. If you aren't drinking it, who is? McMurphy. I'm offended. I wouldn't dream of touching your reserves, Captain. I'm just as flummoxed as you are. A likely story. I've seen how you was when we were divvying up. You had that look in your eye. Visions of Mac looting all the grog he could carry flash before my eyes, and I'm overwhelmed with guilt. I should explain the situation to restore the peace. But I don't want to drop Mac in it either. Maybe I should take the hit. Hello, I couldn't help overhearing you. What are you doing, eavesdropping? People can lose their ears for less than that. Now, Libby, let's not scare our visitor. How are you? Well, I trust. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry, but I just happened by and you were rather loud. I shall forget what I heard and go about my business. And what business would that be? Having copped out of owning up about the grog, I certainly don't fancy telling Captain Libby that I'm treasure hunting. That will go down like a lead balloon. I think quick. I'm building a sandcastle. Both cats stare at me blankly. It's kind of a game. You have to make a castle out of sand. It sounds just as idiotic to me as I hear myself say it. It's great fun. Perhaps you would like to join me? To my surprise, both cats inch forward and we begin to put together the most topsy-turvy sandcastle I've ever seen. Cute. Alright, some recon. Recon 11. There's been a shipment of supplies delivered, and I have to help get it all unloaded. Maybe I can get some info while I'm there. I've been asked to help with the loading and unloading of supplies today. This suits me because I've been itching for the chance to talk to the ferryman and his son. I'm curious to see if they have any useful bits of info that might help me in my quest to find out the real story of the island. The boat only comes once a week and every other weekend. The weekend deliveries are all the good things: food, mail, treats, etc. The mood is always lighthearted. These midweek trips, on the other hand, are strictly work-related and tend to be very early morning when we're all a bit grumpy, or late at night when we're overtired. Today is so early the light has only just broken. Zane and I are waiting down on the jetty. They're late. Really? It's only 5 minutes. Bob's never late. It must be quite a long trip though, to the mainland. You would expect at least 5, maybe 10 minutes either way. Bob's never late. Sorry, again, I wait until it's finished spelling out before I read, because otherwise my eyes, well, I get distracted by the new words, and I'm already struggling to read anyway. I remember that Zane isn't one for chit-chat, so I keep quiet and wait. Thankfully, it isn't long. I can hear the sound of the boat's engine before I can see it, since the morning mist hasn't been burned off by the sun yet. Zane straightens up and suddenly they hear emerging from the mist like a ghost ship. They've been doing this so long that it only takes them minutes to dock and tie off before we're stepping aboard. Right? Right. Another man of few words. I nod to Bob's son, Joe, and he nods back. I would guess we're the same age, but he's huge. Problems? A few extra crates held us up 5 minutes. Okay, me and Bob will do the shifting, you two do the stacking. Until we come back with the outgoing, you stay aboard and sort out the incoming. Got that, Brainy? He's looking at me. Brainy? I'm totally excited that Zane has given me a nickname, but a little crushed that the nickname is Brainy. Sure, you bring him, we fling him. I see that I'm the only one grinning like a fool. Joe knows what to do. You do as you're told. They've gone before I can say anything else. Joe has already started loading up the dolly with incoming crates. He's clearly an old hand at this. You look like you've been doing this your whole life. Family business? Move those crates there, they need to go off next. He sidestepped my question, but I'm not sure if it's deliberate, so I try a different tack. You don't go to college then, Joe? Nope. I'm not getting anywhere with this, so I changed to something less personal. Zane said you're never late, which is pretty impressive considering how far you have to come. This is like pulling teeth. How far is it exactly? Quite far. Oh, really? And do you stop anywhere else en route, or are we your only drop-off? And suddenly, Joe has stopped what he's doing and is standing toe-to-toe with me, locked onto my eyes so that I can't look away. You have a lot of questions in you. My suggestion will be to keep him there on the inside. Don't do no good poking your nose into other people's businesses. I'm shocked by his bluntness. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you. I was just making small talk. You live with all them cats. I'll learn from him. My heart's beating faster. I think he's going to tell me something. What? All cats know curiosity kills them. He starts to laugh out loud, but I'm just standing with my mouth open, not sure how to respond. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? And he laughs even harder. I'm feeling creeped out, and I'm really relieved to hear the two older men returning. Everything all right here? They have the crates to be loaded onto the boat. What's up with you, Brainy? You look a bit wobbly. Not got your sea legs yet? We're playing cat and mouse, Dad. Bob turns sharply on his son and shuts him up with a look. You don't want to mind him. He don't mean no harm. Best take what he says with a pinch of salt. I see a look pass between him and Zane and get the feeling there's a lot more going on here than I understand. You need to get back now, Brainy. We can take it from here. I want to ask to stay, to be given another chance, but all three men are looking at me, and I just turn and slink away. I don't like them. All right, romance time. I've rushed out to the forest on Ploofy Butts, really? On Floofy Butt's insistence that I meet him at the location of his treasure chest. After the incident, we called on McMurphy and Kibbles to help us drag it to a new spot, further away from the Elder territory. Major, are you okay? I was in the middle of preparing lunch when I received your urgent summons. Quite, I was pouring through my collection just now and couldn't help but reflect on some of our adventures. Oh, so you dragged me away from the kitchen to reminisce? Indeed, I have grown rather fond of our expeditions together. I do seem to find more unique articles when you accompany me. You've trained me well, Major. Any advancement I made in the treasure hunting field is entirely thanks to you. Yes, I mean, no, you have a natural ability. Rather impressive. You flatter me, Major. Not at all. I'm a fair cat, and it's my belief that good work deserves just reward. Reward? Indeed, and so I felt it would be only right to let you keep an item from my inventory, so that you might start a collection of your own. That's too kind of you, Major. I'm touched. Yes, well, let's have a look, shall we? You may choose whatever you like, my dear. Absolutely anything. I peer into Floofy Butt's treasure chest. All the gems and bits of precious metal sparkle and glint in the sunlight. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I just burped. I gently moved some of the more bijou trinkets out of the way and dig deep for the good stuff. Wow! I grasp a red gem almost the size of my fist. I wonder if it's a ruby, but before I can begin to examine it, Floofy Butt has swapped it away with his paw. No idea what that's doing in there? I think I see how this is going to go. Anything else of whatever you like. How about this? I untangle a string of pearl, creamy and iridescent. Clearly very good quality even to my untrained eye. Floofy looks uncomfortable. Yes, they're rather special, aren't they? I do have a particular fondness for them. I let him off the hook as my eye catches sight of something dull and cheap looking. Major, what on earth is this? The filthy bottle sticks out like a sore thumb amongst the shiny baubles Floofy usually likes to collect. Oh, that! Heavens, I forgot all about that thing. It might suit you. If you shake it, you'll hear something rattling about in there. I do believe it contains a note or a script of some kind. He's selling it to me. Silly, really. I did get it into my head to find a way to open that bottle, but the cork is wedged in tight. I choose this to start my collection, Major. Really? That old thing? But I can tell he's absolutely delighted. Yes, and I have an idea how to open it. Go on, you have my attention. I whip off my apron and loosely wrap it around the bottle, then smash it unceremoniously against the side of a tree. Goodness gracious of, how lively of you. of. I have a feeling the real treasure is this. I carefully pick the parchment from amongst the shards of glass and cast a cursory eye over the faded scribbles. A genuine message in a bottle. This could fill in so many blanks about the history of this place. A piece of paper? Oh, Major, this is not just a piece of paper. This is better than anything I could have hoped for. Well, if that's what you deem to be treasure, then please be my guest. Thank you so much, Major. I grin from ear to ear. I must go now, though. I'm late for lunch duty. I excitedly kiss Floofy butt on his furry head before dashing back to base. First kiss. We're in. Ah, good. Recon number 13. Alright, let's do another romance. Then recon, then research. Let's get it on with Floofy butt. I'm taking a late stroll along the beach, walking off my dinner when I spot a familiar shape in the distance. Major? He begins slinking away, but I'm sure he must have heard me. Hey, wait! Floofy butt stops but makes no move towards me. I was just enjoying this lovely evening. It's dark and stormy. Is everything okay? He seems very distracted. Yes, all in good order. I haven't seen you for a while. A paranoid person might think they were being avoided. Well, it's a good thing that you're not paranoid then, isn't it? No, debatable. I suppose so. There is an awkward silence. Well, must be getting on. Mice to catch, you know. I feel like I've ruined this. There aren't any mice here, Major. Just a turn of phrase of, but I'm sure you have things to be getting on with. Actually, I have some time if you would care to stroll together. The Ginger Tom shifts uncomfortably. Actually, I have other plans. Really? He has a partner? Oh. He's not forthcoming with the details, and just as I suspect he's making up excuses, I hear a long yowling sound coming from the direction of the forest. Then, to my surprise, Floofy butt lets out a similar call, and his demeanor changes. Sorry, I really must go. Oh, I see. The penny finally drops, and I realize he has a date with another cat. I feel rather embarrassed. Why, Major? I'm pleased for you. Really? Of course. I must say, I ballsed it. I'm glad to have your blessing of. I believe you and I have become good chums over the time we've spent together here. I rather think you would like my new companion. They are so forward-thinking, and they always endeavour to challenge my lazy prejudices. I think you would approve. I do, Major. It sounds like you found a real catch. I notice a slight feeling of regret rise within me, but I try to muster up a smile. Thank you, you're a good friend. I've got friend zoned by a cat. Damn it. But his eyes are focused on where the sound came from, and I can tell he's itching to go. Have fun, Major. I rather think I will. And off he darts, moving faster than I've ever seen him move before. I stand still for a moment, watching the place he's disappeared to, and I feel a wave of utter loneliness wash over me. Oh. Damn it! Recon. Oh, I need a rest. Another cutscene. Trixie and Kibbles have brought me to the ridge where the pools of coloured water collect. We call them the Rainbow Pools. It's a beautiful day and there's a vivid rainbow across the sky. Kibbles is over the other side from me, shouting, "Wow, look at this! Come over here!" He sounds further away than he is. My hearing isn't quite right, but I don't mind. What is it? You need to see it. Suddenly I'm beside him. He's looking over the edge of the cliffs, and when I look down, the sea is further away than I expect. It's such a long way down. Do you see? And I feel a push from behind, and as I begin to fall, I hear Trixie laugh. Curiosity did what? And I'm not falling at all. I'm floating, light as a feather. Fly, little bird, fly away home. This is the best feeling ever. I'm going higher now, up towards the rainbow. I'm going to touch it. Mind you don't get scorched by the sun. A classic Icarus joke. I feel myself being shaken. Humi, you really ought to go in now. It's too hot out here to sleep. I'm on the patch of scrub grass near my tent. I was just having a moment of shut-eye in the sun, but I must have fallen asleep. Oh, thank you, Trixie. I smile at the calico as I surreptitiously scratch at the prickly heat on my legs. Weird. Recon time. Recon 13. I think it's time to take a look at the message in a bottle that Flippy Butt found. The ink is surprisingly well preserved. The only obstacle to my understanding of this letter is deciphering the scrawling scribble. Some words I can make out: punished, God, and presumably the signature at the bottom, Bill. I can make out some other words, but they appear to be badly misspelled, or possibly not even English, but maybe some other hybrid language, maybe a colloquial. I spend an hour or two, though it feels much longer, attempting to translate each character and syllable into my notepad. I obsessively write and rewrite the words until a sentence takes shape, and I am eventually left with something quite legible. Once I am satisfied that each word is correct and each sentence has meaning, I read it through from beginning to end. To whoever finds this bottled message, we have been cursed. We have been judged for our sins. We wrecked on the rocks, and I couldn't tell you where we be, but I think it is hell. The cats, they are everywhere and they won't forgive us. They know what we've done. My gut burns for food. We had no choice. We had to eat. I regret it now. God help me, I do. Now I'm cursed. And the boys are too. The cats are eating us slowly from the inside. It burns more than hunger. It burns me rotten. They stare at me all the time with their yellow eyes. They know what we've done. They're getting retribution. Justice. God help me. I pray for death. If you find yourself in the path of the infinite island, turn back. Don't do what we done. Leave them. This is their island. I need my little Lucy to know I love her. I'm sorry, Petal. Bill. I read it again. And then again. But it seems the more I read it, the less it makes sense to me. I wonder if reading it aloud might help me to understand, like in school. We have been cursed. We have been judged for our sins. We wrecked on the rocks. So their ship crashed and they survived. I'm not sure if they're very lucky or very unlucky. The cats won't forgive us. We had to eat. I had no choice. I had to eat. I had no choice. My skin prickles with goosebumps. Who knows what lengths anyone might go in order to survive. I'm sure I'm capable of a lot more than I like to believe, sat here in the comfort of my tent, but this? My stomach turns at the thought of it. I think I understand what Bill means, but the next part is less clear and still more disturbing. We know what happened though. We've met the pirates. We know that they ate the cats. They're eating us from the inside. Like food poisoning? The thought of that is bad enough. I've eaten a few dodgy prawns in my time. I shudder at the memory. But I can't help thinking he means something else, something worse. Surely the place Bill is talking about is here, this island. The Infinite Island? I never heard anyone refer to this place as the Infinite Island before. Most people call it Cat Island or the Verlorian Island formerly. Perhaps this crew were the first humans to step foot on this place. How long have the cats been here anyway? This letter seems to be at least 100 years old, and the cats were pretty well established then by the sounds of things. The cats in this note must be the elders. I suddenly feel another pang of sympathy for Bill and the crew. I know how frightening the elders can be. I decide not to tell Floofy Bud about the contents of his gift. It would only add to his paranoia. I instead promised myself that I would look into this further another time. Weird. No extras still though. Wait a second, I'm gonna go back. Can I? No, it doesn't tell me how to unlock them. Alright, time for some research. I can't believe we didn't get freaking Floofy Butt. I'm as ready as I can be, game. Research 7. Professor Purrfect says we'll be testing some experimental medicines today. I just hope I have the stomach for it. I arrived at the lab a little later than usual today. I got held up by the incredibly important task of petting all the cats I saw on the way in. Really crucial stuff. As I enter, I see a large, unmarked wooden box on the table. Morning, Professor. I wasn't expecting you to be working alongside me today. I'm not, I'm afraid. I'm actually in rather a hurry, but I need to explain to you a new protocol I'd like you to carry out for me. He opens the lid of the crate, and inside are rows of small clear bottles, each containing white fluid. What is this? Milk? No, these are samples from our offshore lab. Samples of what? So many questions. Curiosity is a marvelous trait for a scientist. Now, I want you to run some tests on these, and I want you to check how they respond to contact with compounds 16, 18, and 24. I noticed how deftly he evaded my question. Once you've done that, provided there are no complications, I need you to apply the sample to some of the cats and record the results. I beg your pardon? Apply the sample to the cats we're looking for specific reactions. Of course, sir, but ought I have a little more information before I start applying an untested product to a living subject? Look, I understand your concerns, of course I do. However, once in a while, one has to trim the red tape, and this is one of those occasions. Now, I really am in the most awful rush, my dear, but I have complete faith in you. I dislike you. And suddenly, I'm alone. I pick up one of the samples from the box. It looks like a miniature milk bottle, but the fluid inside is creamier than milk. I retrieve the compounds from the cabinet that the professor wanted me to test and spend some time combining them with the sample. From what I can tell, the compounds are some kind of organic material, but no one has told me where they come from or what they actually are. I look at them under the microscope, one by one, and add a little of the sample. It's a bit like glue, so it's hard to get it to combine. But once I do, something odd happens. The dead cells that make up the compounds start to move excitedly. They aren't coming back to life exactly, but they're behaving like living cells. I have no idea what the stuff is or its intended use, but I do know that I feel uncomfortable applying it to living subjects. I look at the cats in their cages. They look back at me with trusting eyes. And I am going to be someone that Professor Purrfect dislikes and refuses to administer the sample. No, I'm not going to do it. If the professor continues to withhold information, then I think it's only right that I put the responsibility back on him. He can carry out this procedure himself. No, I would destroy all the samples. I'm that type of person. I sent Purrfect a message from my catalogue. Professor, I feel like I cannot continue in my task today until I understand the implications of what it is I'm being asked to do to the cats. I don't get a reply right away. Eventually, the catalogue beeps and Professor Purrfect has replied. Oh dear, that's disappointing. I would be happy to comply if you could just give me a little more information. If you really are having such difficulties in carrying out your duties, perhaps it would be best for me to find someone who is better equipped. I'm afraid I may lose my job if I don't administer the sample. No, continue to refuse. I feel the implicit threat. I'm sorry you see it that way, sir. I love my job here, but this oversteps a personal boundary. Collect your things, you can catch the boat in the morning. I still can't quite believe what happened, and that I'm really heading home already. I went to see the professor in his tent last night to discuss our difference of opinion. I was hoping to straighten things out so I can continue working here, but he wasn't there, and I received a curt message from him asking that I be on the boat first thing in the morning. So here I am, heading to the jetty where the boat is waiting for me. I feel very alone in the morning mist. No one to wave me off. Oh well. It's too late for regrets now. I shall focus on the excitement of returning to my old life. Strange, even after such a short time, I can't seem to remember much about my life before. I'm going to be tossed overboard. I can feel it. Joe, the ferryman's son, who's a creep, takes my bag and helps me onto the boat. That was quick. You drink all the boss's whiskey or something? Something. He looks at me suspiciously. Must be bad then, playing with the cats instead of working. Let's just go, shall we? I can't wait to get home. And where would that be? Huh? Home. You do know where your home is, don't you? Don't be daft. But for some reason my mind won't focus and I can't seem to remember. Where then? Don't worry, you just sit there for a minute. Dad? The older man comes out of the cabin and joins us on the deck. Got a problem here, son? I reckon so. This one can't even remember their own name. What? Yes, I can. It's, Oh my God. Before he can answer, the older man has pulled what looks like a gun from his coat and is aiming it at me. It's not personal we just have to take precautions, can't have any problems reaching the mainland now, can we? maybe it's good I didn't romance Floofy Butt, because he would be devastated if I died. Well, sugar. Oh, I got an extra though. Yeah, get fired from my job? Huh? Yeah? I didn't even finish the research. Relationship status is complicated with Floofy Buff, but I did fail 2 dates. Okay, yeah. Ending achieved. You've been sacked. Mm-hmm. All right. Next cat. And after my good man and friend, Mr. Frogman, we're naming this guy Dennis. I'm just gonna continue on. I feel like if I sit and think about it, I got shot. My God. What an amazing journey. I've always enjoyed being out on the open waters, and this was really smooth sailing. I almost skip off the wooden jetty to be greeted by a burly man in a security jacket. Hey, did you guys clean up the bloodstains from the boat after you shot me? ID? I rummage about in my bag until I find the laminated security pass that I was issued with on the mainland. 2 months later, poor Dennis is here. Come on then, Skipper, follow me. Oh, we're already starting off with a nickname. Luckily, this guy isn't the sociable type, so I can take in the sights without distraction while we whiz along the forest path. It looks so lush and green. The boss is in there. Glad to have you on board, Dennis. Shall we just go through a few formalities and then call it a day? That way you can get some rest before you start work properly tomorrow. Sounds good to me, sir. So first, shall we have a little refreshment? Nothing for me, thanks. I have water, coffee, or something stronger, perhaps gin? Oh, everything's changed. A coffee would be welcome. Gin, a drop of water, perhaps? I'm not getting whiskey. No, nothing for me, thanks. I'm not thirsty. You'd be wise to keep hydrated, but that's none of my business. I'm not your dad. But, well... okay. The rest of the day is taken up with procedural stuff. Professor Purrfect showed me around the island personally. It was nice to get to know him a little bit. He's rather eccentric, but in a nice way. The thing that stands out most is my catalogue. This technology is something else. I used it to scan some cats, but it can do so much more than that. The professor was most insistent that I keep it safe, which I intend to. As I'm settling into my tent, I make a discovery that really catches my attention. It's a notebook that was obviously written by my predecessor. They left it under my bed, which is as good as an invitation to read it as far as I'm concerned. I think it may be the first draft of a novel, and it's not bad either. They certainly have a vivid imagination. There are bizarre stories about talking cats and other island anomalies. They were very inspired by their surroundings. I must say, it's a great read. Imagine if it were true. I laugh at my little fantasy as I snuggle down for my first sleep on Cat Island. Sometime in the middle of the night, I'm woken by an intruder in my tent. Before my brain can catch up with what's going on, I've leaped from my bed, shouting, "Who's there?" I scramble around for a few seconds before I realize that the notebook has been taken. The next thing I know, I'm running through the forest, barefoot, chasing what looks like a cat. This is insane. A wave of nausea rises up in me, and I realize that I've become perilously close to the danger zone. Remembering the warnings in the notebook, I try to turn back, but my legs give away. Remembering the warnings in the notebook, I try to turn back, but my legs give way under me. I close my eyes tight as I hit the ground. I open my eyes. A calico cat is standing in front of me. It drops the notebook from its mouth. I pass out. I'm laying on the sand, surrounded by cats looking down at me. Yeah, caught us a live one. Move back, child. Yes, let them breathe, or they won't be alive much longer. As my brain begins to defuzz, I realize this is what I was reading about in the novel, only it wasn't a novel at all. My stomach tightens to a knot. It was a journal. I focus my eyes and pick out the big marmalade cat. Have I been bitten? Well, of course you've been bitten. How else would you be able to hear us? This one's an idiot. Don't be rude. The calico cat turns to me. You know about being bitten? You read the journal? Most of it. Enough to understand what's happening here, Kara. Enough to know that you have a choice to make. I look from the cats to my scratched and bitten arms and back again. Yep, let's help the kitties. Enough to know there is no choice. We have to help each other. Bravo, Kara. So let's cut to the chase. We've already done this chase bit. Hush now. What do you need to know, human? I'm still a bit dazed and in shock. Everything, really. At that moment, my catalog starts beeping. It's telling me I have 15 minutes to get back to camp and start my first day at work. I have to go. Let me get myself together and we can catch up later. I have a feeling you're going to do very well. Kara. The best one yet. Don't be rude. I'm just about to enter the lab to begin my legitimate work when the catalog beeps. It's a message without any contact information. In calm waters, every ship has a captain. I think that's what it read. What? I don't even. No, I've had just about enough mystery as a person could handle for one day. If you want to be anonymous, I shall take it that you also don't mind being ignored. The professor is already working when I arrive, but I'm not late, so there's no fuss. I get through the day as efficiently as possible and head back to my tent as soon as my work is done. I want to get to grips with finding out all I can. Alright, it's romance time. With Kibbles. I still can't do Ravenpaw? Did I not unlock her? Sugar. I'm out in the forest looking for some shade and a place where I won't be disturbed. I need to be relaxed when I finally read the precious contents of the envelope I'm carrying. It feels like I've waited an age for this moment. Eventually, I find a clearing with a moss-covered tree stump that looks comfortable enough. I have a quick check around to satisfy myself that I'm alone before I take a seat and slowly unpeel the flap of the brown wrapper and pull out my issue of Kanashi Boy. It's such a treat to get some quiet manga reading time to myself. Oh my god, I'm the weeb! I'm just starting to get into it when I hear a rustling sound come from the nearby bushes. It's not the sort of sound the wind makes when it rustles the leaves. It's more deliberate than that. I look over towards the bush and the noise stops abruptly. Almost as soon as I resume reading, it starts again. I try to ignore it and continue with my comic, but it's very intrusive. I feel like I'm being watched. Who's there? The rustling gets louder. Hello? I inch my way towards the source of the sound, nervously holding my breath. I reach out my arm to pull the branches aside. when something bursts out of the bush and knocks me sideways. Kibbles, what on earth are you doing? Were you spying on me? He picks himself up from the ground, desperately trying to style it out. Oh, you're here? I hadn't noticed. I was just looking for something. In a bush. Yeah, I left my... Kibbles looks around frantically for something. He locks eyes with an unremarkable looking flat pebble and picks it up triumphantly. My pebble! I left my pebble in this bush. Found it now. Good. I would hate to think what would happen if you lost that. Yeah, anyway, what are you doing? Reading? I hold up the comic book, emphasizing the obvious. Yeah, thought so. You're very observant, Kibbles. So, is that Kanashi Boy? What? I'm taken aback. Yes, actually it is. Do you know it? And more to the point, how do you know it? Yeah, looks like issue 8. That's right. Now I'm impressed as well as amazed. Kibbles, how on earth do you know? Questions are flooding in my brain, but I know I need to play this cool. I don't want him shutting me out. That's an old issue. It looks like he has no intention of answering my questions, so I try a different tack. Yeah, the last time somebody tried that, the sun on the boat was freaking creepy as balls. I'm a little behind, so I brought a couple of issues with me. I can read. I'm a little behind, so I brought a couple of back issues with me to bring me up to date. So, which version are you reading? Version? I'm not sure. It's probably the inferior American translation. You have to get the original Japanese or the European versions to get all the nuance. He is a weeb. Oh? It's impossible to truly understand the depths of Fumiyoshi and Hara's relationship in the version you've got. You're a proper fan then. Could say that, I guess. I love to pick your brains sometime. What do you want to know? Does the original version explain how they're able to enter the third chamber together when Chisato gets turned into a hog? Oh yeah. That's because she tried to pass through the gate without Asayo's approval. Oh right, that would make sense. That bit was cut for some reason. The American version they're selling these days is plebeian trash. Well, I like it. Any serious Kanashi Boy fan would track down the European translation. I'm not sure, but I don't think I'd be able to get those delivered here. I guess I'll have to make do with the trash version. I'd rather read something else than read that inferior rag. Fair enough, but I'm still enjoying this. I start to go back to reading my trash, but Kibble suddenly springs forward, grabs the comic from out of my hands and runs off into the undergrowth. Hey, Kibbles, bring that back! But he's gone. I wait for a while, not believing what he just did. After a few minutes, I lose hope that he'll return and start packing away my things to head back to camp. Just as I start walking away, Kibbles comes crashing back through the bush. Oh, there you are. What was that all about? I got you something. That's when I notice he's holding a copy of Kanashi Boy issue 8, but it's not my copy. This one is in a pristine plastic cover. It looks new. Here, this is my copy. The European translation, original Japanese actually. Wow, but how do you understand it? Don't tell me you speak Japanese. Look, I've made my own translation. There are pieces of paper tucked in between the pages with scrawled writing on them. Oh! How did you manage that? One of the ones before you, she helped me translate it. One of the ones before me? What does that mean? A previous assistant? Want to read this or not? I'm far more interested in what he just said. You said helps. Kibbles is looking at the cover of Kanashi Boy, but I sense he's pretending to be preoccupied. He's clearly said more than he intended to, and now he's distancing from himself from it. That would suggest they're still here. Where does the circle end? Huh? I'm annoyed that he's obviously trying to change the subject. It's a simple question, human. I'm worried that if I push him too far, he'll disappear into the bushes, so I decide to play along for now. Where does the circle end? He's watching me intently, and I get the feeling this is some kind of test. The circle ends where it began, probably. Kibbs looks delighted. Oh, cool, you've read it. Read what? Sakura. I'm sorry, I don't know that one. But you gave the right answer. I have no idea what we're talking about right now. Sakura by Hishi Kitsuki. You haven't read it? Afraid not. Is it good? I'm in the best in the genre, which is Guro, naturally. And Guro means gore, of course. God damn it, Kibbles. Of course. I wasn't aware that gore was a whole genre. I realized that I'm a bit out of my depth here. I can lend it to you. I have a copy here. Kibbles looks like he's about to dive back into the bushes. Well, hang on a minute. That sounds really interesting, but I'm in the middle of Kanashi Boy. So ditch that and start this. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. Okay. Well, normally I would finish the series I'm on before starting another, but you got me very interested in Sakura, I must say. Wait right there. I'm gonna try and ace this one. And he's gone before I can open my mouth. I'm starting to get used to this routine, so I'll wait patiently. He's back within seconds. And, sorry, that was quick. Where do you keep this stuff? I could tell you, but you would have to kill me? Then you have to kill me? Whoa, slow down, JJ. It's a bit soon to be finishing each other's sentences. JJ? Jesse James McMurphy told me all about him. Fastest drawer in the Wild West. And suddenly he's leaping around with pretend paw guns, pew-pewing until he's been shot and acts out an elaborate staggerfall death scenario. Then he's back up on his feet in a heartbeat, pointing at the comic he placed in my hands. Yeah, it's universally agreed that it's the grossest manga out there. Kibbles grins as though it's a positive thing. I look at the glossy black cover and I feel my interest peak. And my ability to read English goes down. This doesn't look like the sort of thing I would usually pick up in the comic shop, but I'm certainly intrigued. Great! You gotta love the bit where Kira's mum stabs at her own eyes because Kibbles! Spoilers! Oh, who cares about spoilers? It feels totally different when you see it with the artwork. I don't want you to tell me any part of the story, Kibbles. It doesn't matter if it feels different. Okay, but just remember one thing. Kibbles, if this is a spoiler, I'll be very upset. The circle ends back where it began. Kibbles! I can't tell if that was an actual spoiler, but I feel indignant. He holds up his paws defensively. What? You said it yourself? That was a lucky guess. What does it mean anyway? That's the secret password for Sakura fans. It helps identify each other. The mangaka made it up himself. Like the Mason's secret handshake. Yeah, probably. You don't know what the Masons are, do you, Kibbles? Is that like a boy band or something? Close enough. Should we make our own secret handshake? You know, in case someone tries to infiltrate our manga club? Good idea, Kibbs. We don't want anyone getting our mitts on our intelligence. Their mitts on our intelligence. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So if you hold out your hand in a fist formation and I do this. Kibbles has splayed his claws out as if he's going to scratch me, but he pushes his metacarpal pad onto my knuckles. It feels really strange. That's great, Kibbs. Really unique. Yeah, so anyway, I've got a lot of stuff to be getting on with. Important business stuff. I'll have to catch you later, human. I feel a bit taken aback by his sudden change in mood. Oh, okay, Kibbles. I'll get on with this manga then and we can discuss it soon. Yeah, sure. See ya. I sit down on the tree stump to get stuck into my new comic when I hear, "Fill your hands, you son of a gun." I look up to see that Kibbles has crept around the far side of the trees to ambush me. I spring into action, falling to my knees behind the tree stump. You wouldn't shoot an unarmed cowboy, would ya, you yellow-bellied snake? He momentarily lowers his paws. What? I seize my opportunity. Pew pew! Gotcha! Shoot my finger guns at him. Nuh-uh, I dodged. He jumps into a roll and shoots his paw guns at me. Oh! No, you got me! Oh, I can't believe this is how it all ends. I grab my chest and stagger onto the floor, doing a very good performance if I do say so myself. That's what you get when you mess with the sass slinger. Goodness. I dart my head up. The what? Oh, nothing. What did you just call yourself? I didn't say anything. The sass slinger? No, I don't know what you're talking about. You're boring me, human. I'm going now. No, I mean, that's really cool. I want a name too. Kibbles looks surprised. I get off the floor and dust myself down. How about the sass slinger and his sidekick, the, banter bomb? The banter bomb? Yeah, that's really embarrassing. Okay, well, I'll think about it and get back to you, Kibbles. This has been so fun. See you later, Bants. He blows the imaginary gun smoke from each of his little paws and swaggers off into the bush. I feel childishly happy. That was very interesting. So sorry, I desperately needed some water. All right, to the research. Oh, I've got 3 here. Oh, so I didn't finish the medicinal trial. All right, let's go tag some cats. Today is off to the beach to tag some cats. Here, kitty kitty. I'm out on a tag and scatter rotation. The sun is beginning to set and the beach is cooler. This is hunting time, so in theory, more cats will be drawn out from their hidey holes. The other time for tagging is midday when they're at their laziness, but I find the heat too intense to come to this part of the island at that time. Something catches my eye and leads me into the forest. Oh, here, kitty. Just me. Oh, hi, Kibbles. How's it going? To find it. Oh, what's that thing? Kibbles is already eyeing my chipping pen. Looks like a weapon. Is it a weapon? No, well, kind of. Do you want me to show you how it works? Kibbles gives me an exasperated look. How dumb do you think I am, human? Look, you'll be doing me a huge favor if you just let me use this thing on you. Oh, yeah? Yes, I don't think I can actually tag you twice. And I need all the practice I can get. Well then, catch me if you can. I hear it "Nya" echo through the forest as Kibbles seems to disappear before my very eyes. Impressive. How did you do that? Kibbles, come back. I won't shoot you, okay? I'll even let you have a go if you can show me how you disappeared so fast. He won't come back now. The new voice startles me. He's like the Scarlet Pimpernel. I turn to see a mid-sized brown-haired cat scratching at the trunk of a tree. Oh, hello. I don't think we've met before. My name's... I know who you are, Turntail. The island is buzzing with news about you. Turntail? What does that mean? I realize I'm going to have to scan her. Kibble leaps from nowhere and pins the new cat to the floor. Sorry, it's Kibbles. Shoot her! Nya nya nya! Nya ha ha! Sorry. This won't hurt. It's for your own good. It's so we can make sure you stay safe and healthy, and I seize my opportunity and move fast. I've already grabbed the scruff of her neck, and before I finish speaking, I press the pen between her shoulder blades and release the microchip. There, all done. Wasn't so bad, was it? Whoa, awesome. Can I shoot the next one? I doubt that, Kibbles. I wiggle my thumbs in his direction. Aw, man, I gotta get me some of those. Can I get up now? I have things to do. Kibbles? He remains pinned to the other cat. I reach for the spray bottle in my pocket, and he leaps away with a laugh. Off you go then, do your things. Anything I can help you with? No, just duties. Must get everything done. Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to enter data for you in this catalog. How about we call you B? B? Because you're so busy? Busy Bee? Look, B, it would be good if I could get you to come back to the camp to check you over and make a note of your details. If you want to drop by when you're free, that would be great. Otherwise, I'll have to come back with a cat carrier. Not so great. I wonder if this is 124. Or maybe 124 was shot. I'll come by, I know the place. The cat slinks off. Do you know her, Kibs? I wonder if she's the one who helped him translate. Kibbles emerges from his hiding place in a tree. Yeah, I know her. Is she okay? She seems a bit unhappy. Oh, she's fine. She's just like you is all. Like me? What do you mean? You're the scientist. You work it out. So she was turned. Kibbles vanishes again. Alright, recon! Oh, I've only got one. I've got to focus on finding an antidote. It's time to run some tests on myself and get things moving faster. I'm running out of time. I've been devoting all the time I can spare to working on an antidote for the catification process. Although it's not an entire failure, the progress is slow, and I'm concerned that I may be running out of time. It's time I do some more tests on myself to record how the virus is progressing in me and what effects it's having on my body. That should give me some idea of how much time I have left before it becomes too difficult to hide the problem from other people. I'm sneaking around in the middle of the night because I can't risk getting found out by Professor Purrfect or the Marigolds. The only person likely to check up on what I'm doing at this hour is Zane, the security guard, and I'm confident he won't have a clue what any of this stuff means. I started taking my own blood. Never an easy thing, but trying to find a vein when you're also trying not to look is very tricky indeed. It takes several missed stabs before I get it right, and I take as much as I dare without making myself feel woozy. I take saliva swabs from the inside of my mouth, inside my nostrils, in my ear, and finally some from my groin area. I seal each swab in its tube and label them 007. Huh. Corny, I know, but it makes me smile. I'm also pretty certain no one will pay any attention to the numbers. Everything is number around here, so you tend to go blind to a number that isn't the particular one you're looking for. Next, I tweeze out individual hairs from my head, eyebrows, arms, legs, and groin. Each hair is prepared and placed onto a microscopic slide. Finally, I take clippings from my finger and toenails. Some I prepare onto slides, some are put into test tubes for testing reactivity to various agents. I'm quite sleepy by the time I've prepared all my specimens, and I'm starting to think maybe I should freeze this lot and call it a night when I hear something moving around outside. I go and poke my head out, but it's too dark to see anything. Hello? Nothing. Is somebody out there? Do you want something? This place can be very creepy sometimes. The little diversion has made me feel much more alert, and with my second wind, I decide to press on with my testing. I work steadily for the next hour and a half before I can draw any conclusions. The short-term test result indicates that not much has changed from the last time I did this. Clearly, I'm not progressing very fast, which is a big relief. However, I can see some marked changes from before. Mostly, these are based on the rate of cell growth and movement within the nail clippings and hair samples. Everything is growing more quickly. I'm a little disappointed to not have seen anything more informative, but I remind myself to be careful what I wish for. I place the long-term tests at the back of the specimen fridge, and I'll check up on them in 24 hours. There's not much else I can do now. I clear away all the equipment I've used and leave the place in exactly the condition I found it in. Even Mrs. Marigold wouldn't suspect I've been here, but someone will because you called out during the night. I'm just heading to my tent when I hear a noise coming from behind me, from inside the lab. I walk back and call from outside. Who's in there? Silence. I have security with me. I hear how ridiculous this sounds and I curse myself for being idiotic. I walk into the lab and put the main light on and I'm stunned to see the tests I put in the fridge out on the lab table. I have no idea what to do, so I just put them back in the fridge. But this time I used the padlock on the fridge door. No one ever bothers with it. I've often wondered why it's even there. I don't want someone getting at my blood samples. I'm too freaked out to think straight now. I need to get to bed. I turn towards my tent and there is a huge dark outline of a man in my path. It's Zane. Evening? Evening. Working? Yup. Doing security? Yup. Good night then. Good night. As he turns to walk away, I catch him say almost in a whisper. There's a monthly stock take of the fridge tomorrow morning. I turn to ask what he means, but he's already gone. I realize I'm being given a helping hand, so I go back to the fridge and get my samples. I take them to my tent and see if I can't grab some ice from the mess kitchen on the way. Maybe Zane's a good guy. Recon 9! Alright, let's have a look at the extras. Actually, I should probably rest. Then we'll do the extras. Another cutscene. Oh, we've had this one. I've decided to catch up on some rest and relaxation like the professor keeps telling me to. So I've come down to the jetty where Zane usually sits. I think, yeah, we're doing the sketching. Today isn't a delivery day, and as I was hoping, he's nowhere in sight. Okay. I sit with my legs dangling over the edge and take out my sketchbook and pencils. I haven't done this in ages. It's so peaceful I can get lost in my own little world when I'm drawing. I try doing a couple of landscapes, the mountain range in the distance, the trees of the forest, but nothing is really grabbing me. Then, as I'm daydreaming, I stare into the water and notice the patterns that the ripples form on the surface. They're unusual, I suppose because of the magnetic pull. The effect is beautiful. I end up sitting for over an hour just trying to capture it on my page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up one of the ones from the other day so you guys can watch that. Is that everything I need? I refer to my mum's recipe. I'm going to pause. Nana's original granola, amended by Mum. Large rolled oats, 4 mugs, pumpkin seeds, half a mug, sesame seeds, half a mug, sunflower seeds, half a mug, walnuts, roughly chopped, handful, flaked almonds. I'm glad that I paused. Flaked almonds, half a mug, pecans, roughly chopped, a handful, dried apricots, roughly chopped, a handful, dried cherries or cranberries, half a mug, banana chips, half a mug, sunflower oil, 2 tablespoons, cinnamon, 1 teaspoon, salt, 1 pinch, honey, 4 tablespoons, and coconut shavings to garnish. Oh wait, did I forget to order the coconut? I rummage about in the supply box that arrived this morning until my hands find the bag they're searching for. Phew! Coconut shavings are a necessity. Wait, even if I had forgotten them, I'm on an island with an abundance of fresh coconuts. Still getting used to the island life. I set the oven to 150 degrees Celsius and leave it to heat up while I measure out the rolled oats. I have quadrupled the quantity so that hopefully it will last the whole summer. It seems vast compared to how much I make at home, but it will be disastrous if I ran out. Homemade granola is an absolute essential. I mix the dry ingredients, oats, nuts, seeds and spices together in a large bowl, and then I add the wet, honey and sunflower oil to form a golden moist consistency. I've actually added a splash more oil than suggested. The mixture was feeling a bit drier than usual. Next, I spread it evenly on a baking tray lined with parchment, partially to save up the washing up, and whack it in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes, checking often because the seeds tend to burn quicker than I expect. The smell always drives me crazy, toasty, warm, homey. I miss my mom. Once done, I add the fruit as it dries and cools, and I put it into several large glass storage jars, being sure to stuff fistfuls into my mouth as I do. Alright, it is extras time. Sherlock 1. Something has awoken me and I can't work out what it is. I'm so used to the sounds of the island by now, waves crashing in and out, yowling, and the sounds of the occasional cat fight, that they no longer disturb my sleep. Whatever it was seems to have stopped, so I bring my blanket up to my chin and allow my eyes to close. The sound of the waves gets fainter and my mind drifts further and further away into the land of sleep. Suddenly, I'm awake again. I can hear a strange noise coming from somewhere nearby. From my very tent, in fact. It sounds like scratching? I strain to make it out. It's familiar, but uncommon. Like a pen on rough paper? Not a pen exactly. A quill, perhaps? I sit up abruptly and find myself alone in my tightly fastened tent. I reach for my torch to take a better look around and realize that I'm holding something in my fist. I don't remember grabbing anything. It's a folded piece of paper. I open it slowly, wary of what it might be. I must have written a note to remind myself of something and then forgot that I had even written it. This place certainly messes with your mind. A look at the elaborate swirling cursive. That's definitely not my handwriting. Do you need assistance? SH. Who is SH? Sherlock Holmes. Maybe. Someone pretend to be Sherlock Holmes. I do a quick mental run through of everyone on the island and the initials don't fit anyone. Maybe it means shh, as in keep quiet. But even so, assistance with what? I stare at the piece of paper for a while, wondering who could have slipped it into my hand while I was sleeping. And more importantly, why? I scrutinize the handwriting. It's unusual and beautiful. Normally I would think this was some kind of practical joke, but it has been written by someone with such a deft hand that I can't imagine anyone here being capable of... I cannot imagine anyone here being capable of this class of penmanship. It has been written by an artiste. Why would someone assume I need assistance with something? In spite of myself, I begin to drift back to sleep. Well? Oh, I love him! He's got a little pipe! Well, do you need assistance? I'm sorry, what? Who are you? I take out this catalogue and try to scan the mysterious cat. No data available. Who am I? It's Watson. If I might be permitted to make the introductions, Dr. John K. Watson, I'm most happy to make your acquaintance. He holds out his little paw for me to shake. Hello, and this is the legendary Sherlock C. Holmes at your service. Sherlock doesn't even look at me. I think his ego might be bruised by me not instantly recognizing him. We're here to help. Help who? Why, you of course. Oh, I wasn't aware I needed help. If you do not see that you're not equipped to help yourself, I put it to you that you are in more need of our help than was previously understood. Fair enough. He's rarely wrong, so yes or no? Yes, I do need assistance. Maybe? Allow me to alleviate you of some of the questions that are inevitably swirling around in that tiny diurnal brain of yours. It has come to my attention that you're interested in finding out more about the true nature of this island. That's a good thing. It indicates that you may not be quite as stupid as you look. Now really, Holmes, I would ask you not to insult our client. Oh, I do not mean to insult them. Surely even they are not so stupid that they do not know how stupid they are. Well, I feel stupid. As I was saying, my interest has become sufficiently aroused as to prompt me to agree to aid you in your endeavours to unravel the little mystery you have stumbled upon. Clearly, we cannot do all the hard work for you, but we shall assist you to the best of our abilities. My abilities being far more useful than that of my colleague here, obviously. Now, Holmes, really? What my good friend here is trying to say is that we are at your service and we shall do our best to help you find the answers you seek to the questions you ask. Well, I suppose that's very nice of you. But before we go any further, who sent you? Sherlock and Watson share an inscrutable look. We really must be focusing on asking the right questions if we are to make any progress. I shall appear with intelligence shortly. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning! I sit up in bed again. Zanie's calling through the tent flap. Or should I say, good afternoon? Crumbs, I've overslept. Dream kitties. Oh, another extra. We'll do that in a moment. But first, romance. Floofy butt. I've had a busy morning today, so I'm rewarding myself with a longer lunch break. I use the extra time to return to what has become my favourite reading spot in the forest, to finish Sakura. Kibbles was right, it's fantastic. I'm enjoying it so much more than I expected to. I'm not usually a fan of manga that's excessively bloody. My tastes tend to be more benign. This was an exception. The gore was so relevant to the individual characters and the overarching story that it felt entirely justified. I read the final page, close the issue, and exhale loudly. What an ending. I can hardly believe that the main character died. It's too sad and yet completely authentic. I can't see how anybody could have escaped a situation like that. My thoughts are interrupted by the sound of rustling nearby. I open my eyes. Hey, Kibbles! Kibbles tumbles out of the bushes again. He's holding an adorable little satchel which is shaped like a penguin. Hello, Dennis. Have you read Sakura then? Yes, I just finished it now. It was so disturbing, but in the best possible way. Yeah, the body horror bits are epic. You want it back? I hand Kibbles the comic book. He examines it closely, clearly looking for any signs of damage or wear. After a while, he seems satisfied. He opens the satchel and carefully places it inside. At the same time, he takes out 3 more comics and presents them to me. You should try these now. They're on another level. If you want to be taken seriously, you've got to read them. I struggle to understand who I should be trying to get to take me seriously. I give up. Okay, great. What do you have for me? First, this is Hokurashi. It's about a kid who finds a puppet that lets him control his parents. Then this one is called Hungry Sparrow. The artwork is sick. There's this character called the Icebreaker. He's a huge polar bear. And this last one is called Kuchio Sabome. It's probably my favorite. Oh wow, Kuchio Sabome? You've heard of it? I've read it. That's awesome. Sorry, it's awesome, isn't it? Well, I actually couldn't stomach it, but I don't know how well Kibbles will take it. No, we're gonna lie. But I should be true to myself. I'm gonna be true to myself. To be honest, it was a bit much for me. Kibbles suddenly looks very serious. He reminds me of my lecturers in uni when I answered a question wrong, but they don't want to come right out and say it was wrong. In what way? Much. I think it was a bit relentless, the gore. It's not relentless, it's integral. It's integral. Really. I felt the scene where Kada eats that slug was just gratuitous. Totally the wrong place for something so gut-churning. What? Kada never eats a slug. You must be thinking of something else. No, it's right after Miharu brings her the fruit basket. She opens a banana and the slug is inside. I remember the fruit basket, but no slug. He pulls up the comic from its protective sleeve and starts looking through the pages. Here's a fruit basket. And then it goes straight into the train scene. No slug, see? Oh, I see what the problem is. This is the shorter version. The slug scene must be in the extended edition. Extended version? Yes, I got it back at camp. I can lend it to you if you like. Swapsies! Kibbles looks upset for a moment but composes himself. I do apologize. Oh, well, I've heard the extended version is way too long. That's probably why you didn't enjoy it. The pacing is much better on the standard edition. You're probably right. You have better knowledge than me on this stuff. He looks super happy and prances around me for a few seconds, catching imaginary insects. Okay, Kibbles? Can I still borrow Hungry Sparrow and Hokurashi? He pulls himself together. Oh, so you haven't read those? Not yet. I've heard Hungry Sparrow is excellent. I'll say nothing until you've read them then. We can I'll say nothing until you've read them. We can compare notes then. Kibbles hands me the comics and packs Kuchi Osabome away. Thanks, Kibbles. I'll bring them back as soon as I'm finished reading them. See that you do. I don't know if I got this one right or not. Kibbles disappears backwards into the bushes once again, never breaking eye contact. Maybe he lives in that bush. Perhaps it's like the TARDIS. More research. Alright, filling in. It seems like the professor is adding DIY to my list of duties. I've been asked to help the caretakers today. I'm writing in my journal. I've developed a habit of getting up early and writing for 30 minutes each morning before I begin my day. I'm often so tired at the end of the day that I just want to fall into bed and my journal gets neglected. Also, I like the way it grounds me before this strange island sucks me into the adventure of a new day. This morning, my concentration is being broken by a very odd noise, and I suddenly realize it's the sound of someone trying to knock on my tent flap. Hello? Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. I recognize the voice as belonging to Mr. Marigold, the island's caretaker. Oh, good morning, Mr. Marigold. I spring up to greet him. Can I help you? I would invite you in, but... I indicate the chaos of my tiny tent. Barely room to swing a cat, I know. Why would you swing a cat? I laugh at his joke, but notice his deadpan expression and realize he's serious. I quickly move on, stepping outside. Is there something I can help you with? I hope so. And that would be Mrs. Marigold is taken to her bed, proper sick. She is. So the boss said I should ask you to fill in for her today, if that's all right. I know the professor well enough to understand that I don't actually have a choice. I am filling in for Mrs. Marigold today, whether it's all right with me or not. Actually, I'm quite intrigued. Great. I mean, I'm sorry to hear your wife's poorly. Nothing serious, I hope. But I'm happy to spend some time with you, Mr. Marigold. Well, best make an early start then. You get your shoes on and I'll meet you at the jetty. And before I can say another word, he's disappeared off towards the water. I quickly put my journal back in its hidey hole and grab my backpack with the field kit in it, before stuffing my feet into my trainers. When I arrive at the jetty, I can see that Mr. Marigold has already started work mending the wooden rail, where a couple of the posts were damaged in a recent storm. How can I help? Just pass me those pins as I go along. I need to reinforce this, then recoat it with preservative. I'm a bit disappointed. Just so you know, I can easily have it too if you have a spare, but he'll get this mended much quicker with the two of us working on it. There's no rush. Oh, no, I suppose not. You're here with me for the whole day anyway. Oh, I didn't mean that. Actually, I'm pleased for the opportunity to break out a bit, try something different. Bored of this place already? He squints sideways at me. No, not at all. There's so much going on here. I haven't even begun to uncover half of what this island has to offer, I'm sure. I just mean it's nice to have a chance to get to know someone new. Company is in short supply here. Human company. He mumbles it half under his breath, but I'm not certain he even said it. So I'm not certain he even said it. I beg your pardon? You seem to be getting on with the cats though, eh? Oh yes, I'm spoiled for choice with feline friends. Be careful with that. I stop and look at him. He holds my gaze. What do you mean? dot dot dot. Be careful with those pins. You're going to have them over the edge in a minute. I look down and see that, in not paying attention, I've kicked the box perilously close to the edge of the jetty. Closer to the edge than you thought? I get the feeling we're not just talking about the box of nails. Yes, I wasn't paying attention. Look in the wrong direction, that's when we miss the things right under our nose that could cause problems. Mr. Marigold? We've stopped what we're doing and are standing up now, looking directly into each other's eyes. Do you know something that I ought to know? Such as? Well, obviously, I don't know. I know you're an inquisitive little blighter. Have you been watching me, Mr. Marigold? Keeping an eye might be a more accurate way of putting it. Well, thank you, I think. You're welcome, but I wouldn't be so quick to trust people if I were you. You don't know me or my intentions. And suddenly he lets out a roar of laughter and gets back to work. I have a feeling you're one of the good guys, Mr. Marigold. Call me Mason. I hand him pins and we say no more, but as I go over our conversation in my head, I realize I've heard those words before, or something very like them. The nameless message in my catalogue. Be careful who you trust. And it hits me. Mr. Marigold is my messenger. Dun dun dun! Well, now we know who the mystery person is. Alright, recon! Today the Marigolds are cleaning out the lab's inventory. I should probably be there too. I might find something useful. I know my morning alarm is ringing, but I can barely lift my eyelids. I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to today or dreading it. I've promised to go in 2 hours early to help with the monthly inventory and deep cleanse of the lab. It's not the work I'm anxious about, but the fact that I'm doing it with the Marigolds. They're an odd pair. They certainly don't say much, and I quite often feel like they're judging me. Oh well, the sooner I get there, the sooner it will be over. As I approach the lab, I can hear their voices raised in stage-type whispers. They're obviously having a row that they don't want anyone else to hear. I loiter around for a few minutes to see if I can pick up on any tidbits that would be helpful. I'm not nosy, I'm just curious. It's a cat, Mason, okay? A cat. All it cares about is sleeping and eating. It's still a living thing, Mora. A living thing. It's glorified vermin is what it is. You're putting us at risk. He isn't the sort of person to mess with, Mason. Loyalty to the company is the #1 priority in their eyes. Oh, God, you're rude. I have been loyal. It's my allegiance that's changing, not my loyalty. Do you know how ridiculous you sound? Allegiance to who? A bunch of cats? Mora, you know they're not just cats. You knew when we signed our contracts. Not fully. It's different anyway. In real life, living with them, knowing them. Knowing them? You know what I mean. I know if you mess this up, we'll be destitute at best. I feel like I can't put this off any longer. Ahem, good morning. Ah, you're here. I'm not late, am I? Not at all. We're just discussing how to proceed. They exchange glances. You two can get on with the stock check. Leave the sanitation to me. Sounds good to me. Where do we begin, Mr. Marigold? Call me Mason. We had this. I have the list here, so I'll call the item and you tell me how many we have. Okay, Mason, and if I'm in your way, just let me know, Mrs. Marigold. Yes, I'll be sure to. But if we each mind our business, well, I'm sure it will all work out fine, dear. The tension in the air is tangible. This could be a very long 2 hours. We start with the top shelf of the large metal cabinet. Standard test tubes, 20 boxes. Petri dishes, 10 boxes, mixed sizes. Beakers, large, 25. Beakers, medium, 20. Only 20? That's a bit low. Have you had more breakages than usual? I decide not to tell him that sometimes that I sometimes use them as tea mugs, and there are at least 3 in my tent growing mold as we speak. What the hell is wrong with me? Yes, we've all been a bit clumsy lately. I know one was knocked off the counter by McMurphy this week. Nothing but trouble, them cats. Mr. Marigold continues with the stock take as though he didn't hear his wife. We move on to the next shelf and the next till we've almost finished the entire inventory. We are coming to the end of the drug cabinets. The drugs cabinet. Catamine, 50ml. 8 bottles. That can't be right. It says here that we normally stock 30. See for yourself. 2, 4, 6, 8. Do you use that a lot then? No, on the contrary. It's mostly used for anesthetizing. We rarely do that kind of surgery. Well, that's a mystery. I wonder what it could be being used for though. You two would be a lot quicker if you stick to your counting and leave the wandering up to the professor. We finished the rest of the job without any necessary chat. We all seem to be deep in our own thoughts. Mine are all about where that amount of ketamine might be disappearing to and for what purpose. Suddenly I don't feel too good. Dun dun dun. Alright. I will rest. The issue of Kanashi Boy is super tattered. What has Kibbles been doing with it? Using it as his scratch post? I grab the mini hot iron and some sticky tape and get to work neatening it. I iron each page flat, unfolding the bent over corners, lining up the tears and patching them. I work slowly and meticulously. It's surprisingly therapeutic. After about an hour, I sit back and admire my work. I'm quite proud of the end result. Not quite good as new, but definitely carefully pre-loved. I reread the issue delicately, appreciating every flaw. I think I should rename this one Kintsugi Boy. Aww. Another new little thing. Alright. Back to Sherlock Holmes. I'm awoken by the sound of music filling my tent. Music? What the? As I grab my torch and fill my tent with bright light, I see the bizarre spectacle of a cat in a cape and deerstalker hat playing a violin. This is too weird, even for this island. Be quiet, you're going to wake the whole camp. I'm afraid he can't stop until he's completed the entire coda. OCD, you know. But why is he playing in my tent in the middle of the night? It's what he does. Well, he can't do it. Can't he do it somewhere else? It's what he does when he is near to working something out on the edge of the precipice of enlightenment. God damn it, I'm beginning to sound like him. And what does it have to do with me? It's your little mystery he's working on. At that moment, the music ends with a flourish and I begin clapping instinctively. I stop, irritated with myself for encouraging him. Sherlock takes a little bow. I have it! Have what? Come, clothes, shoes, outside! And he's gone. You best get dressed and meet us outside. I do as I'm told, cursing myself for going along with this nonsense. It's the middle of the night and I have work tomorrow. When we reconvene out in the cold... Oh, I read it right. Out in the cold of the night. Sherlock is pacing up and down, flinging his little cat arms around as though he's conducting an orchestra. I lean in closer to Watson and whisper so that only he can hear. What is he doing now? He whispers back, helps him to think. Can we get on with it, please? Follow! He struts off towards the back of the labs. We come to a halt at the incinerator pits. Regard, if you will, the small white particles of grit at the epicenter of the incineration, resistant to total cremation. The remains of teeth, possibly? Oh, is this my body? Before we can comment, he's striding off again. Bear with him. It's usually worth it. I trapeze behind him until we stop again. This time we're outside Professor Purrfect's tent. We will need to be stealthy. I want you to see what lies within. We can't go into the professor's tent. He's in there, sleeping. My powers of stealth are beyond what is the expected range of a normal feline, or any animal, for that matter. I have been trained to the highest level in the art of karate. For many years, I studied under... Oh, just get on with it. But if he wakes up, you're going to carry the can. Do you understand? My dear child, I understand the greatest problems posed to humankind's greatest thinkers. I doubt I shall be taxed by a nincompoop of your caliber. Now, Holmes, be nice and be quick, I might add. The client's teeth are chattering. Actually, stop. I'm taken aback by my own forcefulness, and even the great Holmes stops in his tracks. I want you to come back to my tent right now and explain whatever it is that you think you know. No more of this theatrical showing off. Just tell me like a normal person. Cat. As you wish, but it won't be nearly so. It's my turn to stride off and leave him mid-sentence. We're settled back in the warm, and Sherlock has reinflated his ego. I have a theory, and until it's proven, that's all it is. A theory about what this island is for, the secret it keeps, or secrets... Sorry, the secret it keeps, or secrets, if my deductions prove true. I'm very tired. Could you please tell me your theory so we can all go back to bed? I am still working on the individual components of the larger picture. However, for this evening, and to whet your appetite, I shall disclose and leave you with this. There are deviants that walk this earth under the disguise of normality, whose aberrations, if exposed, will shock you to your core. Okay? I intend to prove that this very island is home to one whose practices are not only unlawful, but also unthinkable. Dude, I'm already working it out. When are you actually going to tell me anything, Sherlock? Yes, Holmes, come on. Now we need to get along. I refuse to be rushed and bullied in this vulgar way. We just want you to say something. We just want you to say something of significance that makes some sense. There's a lot of S words. Human sacrifice. Yeah, I could see that. Well, that shuts us up. I'll wait for him to continue, but of course he strings it out as long as possible for dramatic effect. The offering of human babies in sacrifice is an ancient practice. The demand for virgin blood by the dark gods is widely recognized as... Sorry to interrupt you in full flow, but are you saying that there's sacrifice... Sorry to interrupt you in full flow, but are you saying that there's sacrificial rituals going on here, right under my nose, that I haven't noticed? Why would you not noticing what's right under your nose be noteworthy? May I remind you that I needed to point out to you that the human teeth in the incinerator... I needed to point out to you the human teeth in the incinerator, a place you inspect daily. Exactly, Holmes. I tend to those pits as part of my daily routine, so I know them inside out. What you're referring to as teeth are actually small pebbles that cling to the roots of the plant samples we burn after testing. Pebbles don't burn. In fact, they collect and alter the temperature of the incinerators, so I have to clear them out twice a week. Sherlock is uncharacteristically quiet. Watson looks deeply embarrassed. Now, unless you have any other ridiculous notions you'd like to share with the group, I suggest we all say night-night, good night. You have no idea the danger your ignorance places you in. I shall not be deterred by your lack of cooperation, but I shall return shortly with irrefutable evidence. Good evening. I'll call for you if I need you. I'm sorry for everything really. We'll wait to hear from you. Adieu. I kind of like Sherlock. I just like his little hat. Whatever, we got the third one. Alright, it's romance time. So we'll do two romances, a recon, and an extra. Kibbles! It's been a few days since Kibbles lent me his comics. Although I devoured them on the first night, I've been so busy with work that I haven't had the time to return them yet. I'm dying to talk to him about them, so today I've cleared the decks enough to spend a couple of hours with him. I've been waiting in our usual spot when the nearby bush begins to rustle. Hi Kibbles, you there? No answer. I bought your comics back. Still nothing. I know he's there. He must be playing a game, so I decided to play along. Oh, what a shame Kibbles isn't here. I so wanted to ask him about Hungry Sparrow. He's so clever. He will know why Naoko broke the mirror at the end. Kibbles falls out of the bushes. Obviously, she's just clumsy. Right? So really, I figured it was a metaphor for her fractured self-image. A metaphor? Yes, because her heart was broken when Ryoji fell in battle? Oh, of course, that goes without saying, but I just feel like that interpretation is kind of tired. Really? What would your interpretation be then? I think it might be too complex for you. Let's talk about something else. Alright, what did you want to talk about? I'm starving, there's no proper food around here. I eyed the plump British long hair skeptically. Well, I've got a tin of tuna back at base camp if you want it. I could easily... No, that's not proper food. Gross. I'm talking about proper food. Chocolate, crisps, pizza. Have you got any of those? No, Kibbles, I don't. But you know how to get them. What are you implying, Kibbles? Thank you very much, Jason. You're lurking because you're getting into bed, but you wanted to say hello first? Oh, thank you so much for the lurk. I hope you have a wonderful night's sleep. I hope you had a wonderful stream as well. I'm sorry I couldn't join in. It was your final stream of Mist, yeah? You're going to bed. You don't need to answer. What are you implying, Kibbles? I can't just walk into the mess tent and steal armfuls of food in the middle of the day. Exactly. Meet me outside the mess tent tonight at sundown. Bring a backpack and a torch. Oh, Kibbles, I don't like the sound of this. If you don't help me, I'll just have to do it myself. I shudder at the thought of Kibbles being let loose in the mess tent without supervision. Well, okay, Kibbles, I'll meet you, but only if you promise to be super stealthy. You wrapped up Mist pretty quick. You were closer to the end than you realized. That was good. It was a good story though, yeah? I kind of get sad when things end a lot sooner than I think. It kind of throws off my stream sometimes. Yeah, it was awesome. That's what you want, as long as the story was good. My stealth abilities are second to none. I'm a black belt in Kakate. Oh, you and Sherlock. I really hope so, Kibs, because we're going to have to be super ninjas tonight. Dank. I come to the mess tent in a little before sundown, hoping to apprehend Kibbles in case he tries to stealthily barge in without me. Thank you, Jason. Have a good night. I finally spot him stalking in the distance, using his tail to brush away any paw prints he's leaving behind. Clever. He's taking this so seriously. My heart sinks as I realize how disappointed he'll be when I explain we can't actually rob the mess tent of all its traits. Hey, Kibs. Senpai. Senpai? I have to restrain myself from doing an air grab. I just wanted to say it's an honor to raid alongside you tonight. Yes, well, about that, Kibbles. I promise I won't let you down. Oh no, why is he being so nice? Well, actually, I don't think this is a good idea after all. What? What are you talking about? Well, I was thinking that maybe it would be a step too far to raid the mess tent for spoils. He looks so sad. Are you joking? You've changed your mind? Do you think I'm not up to the task? Is that it? No, you're totally up to the task. He looks so hurt. I feel really crummy. It's not you, Kibbles. I'll gladly heat up a pizza and make a salad to go with it. But I don't think it's a good idea to take any more than that. Kibbles looks at me with disbelief. Did you just say the word salad? I did, I'm sorry. But this is a really bad idea, Kibbles. Not only could it get me fired, but you could get sick if you ate lots of sugar and flour, and I don't want to be responsible for that. It seems I was wrong about you. I thought you were heroic. I thought you were cool. Oh no. I just want to be cool. This really strikes a nerve. I'm not sure what I do. I don't know whether I should listen to my head or my heart. No, we're going for the raid. Kibbles called me senpai. I can't let that be for nothing. Kibbles, I am heroic and I am cool. Very cool. Let's raid. This is me. This is my childhood right here, just agreeing with people and doing things I probably shouldn't be doing just so people would like me. It didn't work out that well. Kibbles does a little happy dance and fires invisible paw guns into the air. Pew pew! You sure everyone's gone to bed? Yes, except Zane. He's doing his rounds. He's on the other side of the island right now, which gives us about 15 minutes. This is so cool, like a proper real-life loot run. But you have to keep your voice down, Kibs. The marigolds are doing their cleaning rounds in that tent, just over there. So stop talking, because now we only have 14 minutes and 32 seconds. We've crept into the kitchen area, which is easy as the whole thing is open plan. I make a start by grabbing a pizza from the freezer and putting it into the microwave to cook, really. Next, I get the store cabinet keys from the usual place on the hook next to the sink. The security is not exactly high tech. It doesn't need to be. We're on an island. We all get fed. Who would want to steal food? Duh. My backpack is overspilling with loot and I'm struggling to zip it up. Point taken, but this is different. This isn't real food. This is the monthly treat ration. Monthly? Then what do you eat all day? Well, fish and vegetables mostly. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that, Dennis. What? Never mind. Hurry up, we have 6 minutes and 47 seconds left. As if on cue, the microwave pings. I grab the hot boxes and we're off. So this is your place, huh? We're sitting on my bed, finishing the last of the pizza. Yep, this is my crib. Never say that word again. Sure, don't worry. I cover my embarrassment by tipping the contents of my rucksack on the bed between Kibbles and me. His eyes widen at the sight of our plunder. Oh man, there's even more than I thought. He stuffs his mouth with marshmallows and jelly beans. There are little tears in his eyes. Cats can't taste sweet though. It's been so long. This is the best night of my life. Kibbles and I gorge ourselves on junk food until we can barely move. Thank you for today, Dennis. I really needed this. I don't feel so good. Uh-oh, did you eat too much? I clamber out of my tent, hoping that some fresh air will stop me feeling sick. By the time I return to the tent, Kibbles has gone and so has the loot. I got an achievement that says Kibbles Master Race as like the bottom text. Alright. Romance again. I haven't seen Kibble since our pizza party the other night. I want to make sure he didn't overdo it once he left my tent. I approached the clearing near the bushes he likes to hide in. Kibbles, are you there? No answer. Kibbles? The bush sneezes. I know you're in there, Kibbles. You just sneezed. Still no answer. Kibbles, if you don't come out here, I'm coming in to get you. Kibbles lazily rolls out of the bushes. Oh, hi, Dennis. I didn't hear you coming. Kibbles, are you avoiding me? No, I've just been really busy. I pull a sticky sweet wrapper out of his long fur. Yes, I can see that. Is everything okay? I've been worried about you. You left so quickly the other night. Well, I figured the night was over with you about to lose your guts outside. Well, you'll be pleased to know that I was not, in fact, sick. I did feel terrible all night, though. What were we thinking? What were you thinking, you mean? I happen to know my limits, except that you were sick on the way home, weren't you? How did you know about that? I didn't until just now. It was worth it. We should do that again. Not with me, you won't. So, what's been keeping you away? I've been working on my project. Is he biting his lower lips sensually? Look at this. Project? What's that? Just my latest comic. Comic? You made one? Yeah, I've been working on it for ages. You're the first person I've told about it. Well, I'm honored. Tell me more. What's it about? Can I see it? It's about a lot of stuff. You can have it, actually. Really? Kibbles hands me a stack of paper covered with crude markings, held together with tape and staples. Oh, it's nice. It's just a first draft. That'll be worth loads to the right collector. Yeah, the artwork is quite avant-garde. I was worried that being a cat would limit my artistic ability, but I'm obviously a savant. Oh yeah, for sure, and well, it has a unique smell, doesn't it? Yeah. Oh my god. It's hard to get pens and paints out here, so I had to get pretty creative. Something tells me I'd rather not know too much about his creative techniques. Thank you for this, Kibbles. I'll read it as soon as I get back to base. Yeah, well, it's pretty complex. You might not get everything on your first read-through. I look at the scratchings, paw prints and splatters that make up the pages of this rare first edition. No doubt, maybe once I've read it, we can go through it together? Yeah, okay, you'll probably need my help. Right, I'll go make a start then. Thanks again, Kibbles, that's really sweet. He made us a comic. Oh, Recon 14, let's go! Alright, let's do the extra. I'm coming to the end of my fieldwork for today. It's been a long morning that has taken me close to the opposite end of the island. I don't often get out this far, so I decided to take a break here and eat my lunch. I'm just relaxing with my tuna wrap and apple juice when the peace and quiet is disrupted by the familiar sound of violin. Those two combinations don't sound great together, I am not gonna lie. Tuna wrap and apple juice. Mind you, I struggle with apple juice, so... Sherlock, is that you? Watson poked his head out from behind the rock I'm leaning against. You're quite far from home today. Aren't you nervous being so close to the enemy? Oh really, Watson, I thought better of you. You sound like you've been spending time with Floofy Butt. The original Elder Cats are not the enemy. No, are they your friends? Well, no, not exactly, but that's only because they're understandably suspicious of why we're here on their island. Your first error, my dear child. He has stopped playing his violin and decided to join us. Hello, Holmes. By what evidence have you deduced that this is their island? They were here first. And you know that? How? Quite. You jumped to erroneous conclusions based on an assumption and zero factual verification. I'm not in the mood for him today. Either make him wind his neck in, or I may have to muzzle him. Try to be patient. He means well. He's just not very socialized. Okay, come on then, Sherlock. Let's hear it. What do you have for me? I have devoted myself to the task of unraveling your problem, and I believe I am on the point of a denouement. Plain English, please. He's about to reveal oil. What an extraordinarily fitting backdrop for the staging of this revelation. You see over there, the shadow cast against the rocks? He's pointing in the direction of the Elder territory. I screw up my eyes against the glare of the sun and look at the wall of grey rock in the distance. He's right. I can make out the shadow of a giant cat statue that sits in the middle of the danger zone. So that's always been there. You're hardly disclosing any groundbreaking developments. Au contraire, my dear, it cannot always have been there. Someone must have put it there. Well, yes, but long before any of us arrived. Believe me, no one would like to understand how it got there and what it signifies more than me. But unless we find a way to communicate with the elders, it's going to remain a mystery. And that is my stock in trade. Go on then, tell all. I continue with my lunch. It's very simple, actually. The statue of Bastet, your goddess, was erected by your leader, or rather his minions, under his direction. I stop eating. What? By who? Watson, help us out here before we lose patience. I think what my learned friend is trying to tell you is that you are in a cult, and Professor Purrfect is the charismatic leader. Well, I know the elders are in a cult. There's a moment of silence where nobody moves until it's broken by my sudden burst of laughter. A cult. Not just a cult, but to be precise, the cult of Bastet, feline goddess of Egypt. I'm finding it hard to breathe for laughing. And who's in this cult and why? All of you, of course, each seeking out a place to belong, each running away from something. Such as, take a look, if you will, at the containers you've been filling all morning. Plant samples, yes? And you'll be taking these plant samples to the marigolds. Look, you obviously know this already, so shall we cut to the chase and you tell me what you think you know about Mr. and Mrs. Marigold? Clearly, I have to spell it out to you. It is my belief that they have had to seek protection and concealment on this island from both the authorities and rival drug barons. I look over at Watson for some sign of sanity, but he has buried his head in his paws and obviously thinks the same as me. The Marigolds are what? Drug dealers? They are in the business of manufacture and distribution of illegal mind-altering substances, or at least they were until something drove them out of business and forced them to begin again here. The professor has taken them in and now put them to work for him in exchange for his silence. How did you ever come up with this in the first place? Exactly, my dear. Just look at the evidence in front of you. They are cultivating a herb garden right under your nose. The professor has you believing whatever he chooses. Right, I've had enough of you and your crackpot ideas. Take your little violin and go fiddle elsewhere, Sherlock, before I can tell you are in no mood to open your mind and take seriously the proposals I put forward, so I'll take my leave of you. But in my absence, ponder this. When you engage in the trance-inducing maneuvers your leader trains you in daily, can you be sure he's not getting control of your mind, body, and spirit? Oh my god, yoga! He's teaching us yoga! He's already gone and I'm shouting into an empty space. I can only apologize and ask that you don't think too harshly of him. How do you do it, Watson? How do you put up with him? I suppose I care for him rather deeply. Good day. Oh, gay cats. I feel a little ashamed of not caring a bit more than I do. There we go, we've got part 4. So, romance, recon, part 4, then research. Here we go. I'm sitting outside my tent, trying my best to make sense of Kibbles' comic. I'm desperately hoping for something, anything that I understand enough to talk to him about, but it's no use. Just as I'm giving up, I see Kibbles approaching from the forest. Kibbles, what are you doing here? I figured you'd finish my comic by now, and you'll be ready to go through it with me? Oh yeah, sure, it was complicated, like you said. I knew you wouldn't get it. Okay, I'll be honest, I didn't really understand very much at all. Let's start at the beginning then, shall we? Kibbles sits down next to me and flips the comic open on the first page. It's semi-autobiographical. Biographical. My memoirs, if you will, from what I can remember anyway. This page is about my parents. Kibbles points to a pair of red paw prints. This is my earliest memory. My mum and dad sitting together while I played in the garden. Then he turns the page. This one just has one red paw on it. Money was tight, so mum worked a lot overtime. It was just me and dad most of the time. This next bit is about when I started high school. This page is chaotic. Bright smudges and scratches cover every inch. I didn't really fit in at high school. Kibbles gestures to a page with a big scratch from top to bottom. This is the day where Troy started pushing me around. Look at this bit. A thick black substance covers the paper. I'm worried about what it might signify. This is my happiest memory, sitting alone by myself in my room reading comics. Kibbles flips to a more colourful page. This is when Dad started taking me to the comic store after school. It was like a whole new world for me. I lost interest in the commercial stuff. So it started to feel lamestream to me. I discovered manga. It was much more on my level, way more intellectual. Kibbles turns page after page, explaining the significance of the manga he had read and how they shaped him and helped him escape from his problems. Kibbles, I think this is great. The way you're opening up to me, it's a real privilege. Suppose. I thought about it lots and I wondered if I should ask. Ask what? Were you originally human? I mean, were you catified? He lowered the comic and is looking at me with an expression of incredulity. I can't believe you just asked me that. I'm sorry, you don't have to answer. Are you actually joking? This whole comic is about my transition and stuff. What were you reading? If I wasn't originally human, how would I have a manga collection that would make any otaku proud? How would I be able to read even? Yes, of course I knew. I just mean, I was asking more about how it happened. How, when, where, that stuff. He's fixed his eyes back on the page. I can't tell you. Too soon? Well, obviously not. We're looking at my entire existence here. I feel a little foolish. I just can't remember. Only bits, but it keeps getting less, like it's fading in the sun. I feel his frustration and direct us back to the safety of reading. It's okay, this is great. It documents everything. Finally, he turns to the last spread, the one I've been avoiding as the pages were stuck together. He pries them apart carefully as not to tear anything. It's a type of collage. He's used bits of chewed up plants to stick down various objects. Amongst the colourful markings, there's a panel from my comic. There's a panel of my copy from Tanashi Boy, some sweet wrappers, and in the centre, the unremarkable pebble. The one that Kibbles claimed he was looking for the first night we met in the clearing. It has a blue and green paw print on it. Kibbles, this is beautiful. This page is about you. Me? Yeah, well, us. Us? What about us? You and me. Our story. You wrote a story about us? No. The story that we are, that is... I want... Take your time, Kibbles. Count to 10. Use your words. I'm not a kid. Don't patronize me. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I was trying to help. It's just confusing. I don't know what to say because I don't know what I feel. About what? About this. Kibbles angrily jabs the comic with his claw until it hooks into the paper and he can't unstick himself. Do you need help? Or I really don't want to be patronizing. Kibbles finally tears his paw free and looks me directly in the eye and blurts out one word. Love! I'm not sure I even fully heard him correctly, but I'm frightened to ask him to repeat himself, so I take a punt. Love? Maybe. Kibbles, I may be a very clever scientist, but I can't read minds. You're gonna have to tell me what it is you're trying to say. I might have love feelings, possibly, for you, I think. Oh! I have love feelings for you too. Well, that's good. It is? Yes, because maybe I might have love feelings, possibly for you, I think too. You might? I do. Yes, so do I. Definitely, I think. Kibbles looks like he doesn't quite know what to do next, so I bend down and we share an affectionate nuzzle. He purrs loudly and then bites my arm and runs away. Oi, where do you think you're going? And I chase him through the forest. How cute. Successfully romance Kibbles! Done. Alright, I'm gonna rest. Okay, wonderful. We can watch the next video then. I sit in the position Professor Purrfect has taught me. Legs crossed, back straight, wrists resting lightly on my knees and fingers formed into loose circles with the forefinger and thumb touching gently. I close my eyes and hear the rhythmic purring, slow and steady. My fur prickles at the sea breeze and my ears twist at the distant sounds of feet on wood and seagulls cry in another faraway place. The smell of the sea fills my nostrils, the taste of salt fills my mouth. Hi Basic, thank you very much for claiming your leaf. I know that you have more than 0. I don't know why it keeps telling you that you have 0. I begin to focus on my breathing and the rhythm of my heartbeat. Oh, balls. Hey, previous me, can you not do that? And the rhythm of my heartbeat, allowing my mind to drift. As I take a deep breath in, the tide comes creeping towards me as though I'm pulling it. When it's just centimeters away from my bare toes, I slowly release my outward breath to a count of 5 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With each beat, I push the tide back into the horizon until it's almost touching the rising sun. I breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5. And out 2, 3, 4, 5. Drifting now without attachment to thought, my mind free from worry and care. I don't know what that's like. Okay, recon time. It might be worth taking a closer look at the comic Kibbles made. I'm laying in my tent looking at the comic Kibbles made. It's a really heartwarming thing. He's put a lot of work into it. As I'm looking, I notice something behind some of the colours. It looks like Kibbles might have painted over something he found. I can just about make out the signature in the lower right corner. The more I squint, the more I believe it's Professor Purrfect's. I wonder what this used to be. I suppose that it'll be possible to clean up the paint and see what's underneath, but I can't bring myself to do that. Maybe there's something at the lab that I can use to see more without destroying the artwork. I arrive at the lab just after dark when I'm guaranteed to have the place to myself. There is a portable x-ray machine in the back. We use it to examine the bones of the cats after changing their diet. There's a light box attached to it so we can see the x-rays properly. It's this piece of equipment that I'm hoping will reveal the secrets underneath Kibbles' work of art. I lay out the comic on top of the light box and I can see the image quite clearly under the paint. It's a letter. Dear Jonathan, I would like to wish yourself and Martha a very happy new year. I understand your concerns. The recent closure of our account at your cat farm may indeed negatively impact your business. I can assure you this decision was not taken lightly. I would like to take the time to personally thank you and your family for your help providing us with cats over the years. From your last letter, it's clear that you don't fully understand our reasoning. The traditional methods of farming cats have, as you pointed out, been perfectly acceptable for many years. However, recent advances in technology that our team have employed mean that we're able to produce cats on a far greater scale and much more quickly than using traditional methods. Our offshore facility can produce 100 cats in the time that would take you to rear 10. I would, however, like to repeat our offer of a job in the offshore nursery. Your family has been an asset to this company for many years, and we would like to show you our loyalty and appreciation. Please do consider this offer seriously. Warm wishes and season's greetings from Professor Purrfect and team. An offshore cat breeding facility? We have an island overrun with cats right here. Why would we need... Before I can even form the question in my mind, I know what the answer is. This island is the offshore facility. Professor Purrfect was obviously keeping it well under wraps. I look back at Kibbles' sweet picture and wonder how on earth he had this letter in his possession. Slowly, another thought begins to force its way into my consciousness. What if Jonathan and Martha accepted the offer that was made to them and came to work on the island? What if they brought their young son with them? Could this be Kibbles' parents? I decide to respect Kibbles' privacy and keep this information to myself. He might not remember any of this, and I don't want to distress him. Oh! Thank you so much for the sub, Basic! That's trippy. Dude, this has been getting so weird. I got shot, Basic. I got shot. It was really, really, really weird. Basic just made Purrfect Date even trippier with a 2-month sub. Like, imagine dating cats in a game, but with the added bonus of no ads and exclusive emotes. Now that's what I call a perfectly cozy commitment. I appreciate you subbing to me, Basic. I do appreciate it. I hope you've been enjoying the streams. Alright, let's go meet Sherlock. That's your nickname? Trippy? Kibbles? 2-month sub? Bestie? And you're my bestie. Perfectly cozy commitment. You need to change your name in Gore's Discord then. I've been helping with the deliveries this morning. There are only 3 boxes left, which I'm attempting to carry in one run. So the final box is perched precariously on top of the other 2. Bob recommends I only take 2 at a time, but I want to get on with other things. I'm inching my way blindly along the jetty path, regretting my impatience when suddenly something flies out of nowhere and all 3 boxes go scattering in front of me, tripping me up into the bargain. What the? Are you bowing before me? I know who that infuriating voice belongs to before I look up. Yeah, it's my own. Sherlock, what are you doing? You scared me half to death. Allow me to help you up. We are most terribly sorry. Thank you, I'm sure you are, Watson, but what I find hard to believe is but I find it hard to believe he understands what sorry feels like. Sorry is a word, my dear. You cannot feel a word. He's about to launch into one of his rhetoric marathons, so I interrupt him before it's too late. He's like a juggernaut, very difficult to stop once it's at full speed. Never mind all that. Why are you here? I didn't call for you. Exactly, you didn't call, so I needed to come unannounced. I have news, a breakthrough. Really? I have been ruminating. The picture is becoming clearer. The more of the dots are joining. This is a great jigsaw that is overwhelmingly just. This great jigsaw that is overwhelming you has just found another piece. Gosh, I can't read. And if I'm not mistaken, it is a corner piece. It's so frustrating. Are you saying that you found something out? Well, indeed. I'm not so sure. Something highly significant has come to me. Oh, don't get your hopes up. In a dream. Oh, yes, afraid so. The greatest thinkers of all time have relied upon the hallucinatory guidance of dreaming, not the dreams of the sleeper, shut down and flabby. No, the dreams I speak of are self-induced, insightful from a trance. You're taking drugs as a cat? Sherlock, come on. I know you have a cocaine habit as a human, but you can't have a cocaine habit as a cat. Are you the one who's stealing the ketamine? The opening of the subconscious mind while the frontal lobe is distracted. Oh, no, hypnotism. Okay, cool. Sorry? He's talking about self-induced hypnosis. He practices a lot. It looks a lot like sleeping. So you may as well tell me now that you've caused such mayhem. I look around and see one of the boxes has burst open when it hit the ground, and the contents are scattered around us. I begin to gather them up when Sherlock snatches one out of my hands. The very proof. This, Watson, this is what I'm talking about. Tins of tuna? What about them? I've tried to tell him. To you, these may be innocent tins of tuna, but to me they represent the corruption and deceit that is at the very heart of this godforsaken island and the cult that inhabits it. Okay. This again? He thinks he's worked it all out. And so I have. If you will all stop jabbering for one moment and allow me to speak. Watson and I exchange a look of exasperation and allow Sherlock to take center stage. This, he holds up the tin of tuna again, is no ordinary can of fish. It is more like a can of worms. The most cursory of investigation uncovers that what we really have here is the contraband of these two latter-day pirates who plunder the waters of the wider ocean and peddle their ill-gotten gains to the unsuspecting merchants on the mainland. I lean in close to Watson so Sherlock doesn't overhear me. John Bob? Yes. Pirates? Would seem so. Their unscrupulous fishing methods have drawn the attention of the world-renowned vigilante environmentalist army Le Braveur, who have hounded them across the salty battlefields and forced them to retreat into hiding here within your very cult. He's gone mental, hasn't he? I fear so. Here, amidst the drug peddlers and the cross-dressers, under the protective... Whoa, hold it there, Sherlock. Say that last bit again? In spite of your mulish refusal to accept the truth, the caretakers and the security guard, Zane, the very same. Cross-dressing? Watson emits a small groan and bows his head. How else would you explain the bottles of nail varnish, the perfumed skin creams, the nylon stocking size extra large, all flung indiscriminately around the camp with an abandon of a cheap burlesque? Let me just stop you there for one moment, you utter numpty. Oh, steady. Not that it would matter one jot if anyone chose to cross-dress, or that it would be any of your business, but for the sake of accuracy, allow me to educate you. The nail varnishes belong to a previous research assistant. The stockings are used in the hope of catching small airborne life forms that might help our research. And as for the creams, that is a mystery that I've been investigating and researching since my arrival on this island, a mystery that you, oh great detective, have been no help with whatsoever. Now, notice if you will, the word research was used several times in my statement. That is because I'm a scientist, and in science, we do not present a prognosis unless we've done the research to uncover sufficient evidence to lend our findings credibility. There are no facts underpinning your theory, Mr. Holmes, and that reduces them to the level of balderdash. I see the way it is. The truth can be hard to swallow, and with pride heard as an accompaniment, it may be altogether unpalatable. Perhaps, Watson, it would be kind to leave our client to digest these revelations in private. That is possibly the most insightful idea you've had so far. When you see how wrong you've been and how right I am, you'll be grateful that I've spared you public humiliation. Watson has got to his feet and is tugging on Sherlock's coat sleeve. Indeed, my friend. Let's go and eat some of this excellent tuna for lunch, and you can explain to me how you managed to solve this ticklish conundrum so brilliantly. I stand with my mouth open, watching them leave, not quite believing what I'm hearing, when Watson turns back to me and winks. It's a small gesture, but it makes everything fall into place. Of course, Watson knows it's nonsense, but he allows Sherlock to believe he's right simply because he loves his friend and accepts him for who he is. No embarrassment. Excuse me, Watson is more of a friend. I feel touched as I bend down to pick up the remaining tins of fish. We could all do a bit of that in our lives. Hello, Faye. I completed the Sherlock and Watson side story. Alright guys, it's the final bit of research. I am ready. Oh, no, I'm not doing research 7. I'm gonna get shot again. Oh, can I be shot though? Can I do that to Kibbles? Okay. I'm gonna have to do it. I legitimately looked it up. I looked it up to be like, okay, but like... Thank you very, very much, Basic. I needed the bits to get through this. I got through... Thank you very much for saying that I got this, but like... I feel really bad. I arrived at the lab a little later than usual today. I got held up by the incredibly important task of petting all the cats I saw on the way in. Really crucial stuff. As I enter, I see a large, unmarked wooden box on the table. Morning, Professor! I wasn't expecting you to be working alongside me today. I'm not, I'm afraid. I'm actually in rather a hurry, but I need to explain to you a new protocol I'd like you to carry out for me. He opens the lid of the crate, and inside are rows of small clear bottles, each containing white fluid. What is this? Milk? No, these are samples from our offshore lab. Samples of what? So many questions. Curiosity is a marvelous trait for a scientist. Now I want you to run some tests on these. I want you to check how they respond to contact with compounds 16, 18, and 24. I noticed how deftly he evaded my question. Once you've done that, provided there are no complications, I need you to apply the sample to some of the cats and record the results. I beg your pardon? Apply the sample to the cats, Dennis. We are looking for specific reactions. Of course, sir, but oughtn't I have a little more information before I start applying an untested product to a living subject? Look, Dennis, I understand your concern. Of course I do. However, once in a while, one has to trim the red tape, and this is one of those occasions. Now, I really am in the most awful rush, my dear, but I have complete faith in you. Suddenly I'm alone. I'm going to refuse and then test. I pick up one of the samples from the box. It looks like a miniature milk bottle, but the fluid inside is creamier than milk. I retrieved the components from the cabinet that the professor wanted me to test and spent some time combining them with the sample. From what I can tell, the components are some kind of organic material, but no one has told me where they come from or what they actually are. I look at them under the microscope one by one and add a little of the sample. It's a bit like glue, so it's hard to get it to combine, but once I do, something odd happens. The dead cells that make up the compounds start to move excitedly. They aren't coming back to life exactly, but they are behaving like living cells. I have no idea what this stuff is or its intended use, but I do know that I feel uncomfortable applying it to living subjects. I look at the cats in their cages. They look back at me with trusting eyes. I'm going to refuse once. No, I'm not going to do it. If the professor continues to withhold information, then I think it's only right that I put the responsibility back on him. He can carry out the procedure himself. I sent Purrfect a message from my catalogue. Professor, I feel like I cannot continue my task today until I understand the implications of what it is I'm being asked to do to the cats. I don't get a reply right away. Eventually, the catalogue beeps. Professor Purrfect has replied. Oh dear, that's disappointing. I'll be happy to comply if you give me a little more information. If you really are having such difficulties in carrying out your duties, perhaps it would be better for me to find someone who is better equipped. No, back down and administer the sample. I suppose I have no choice. The professor will fire me if I don't do the job that I was hired to do. I try to stay professional and detached. I open one of the crates and retrieve Muffin. The slightly plump Persian. She starts purring as soon as I touch her. She's a little older than the other cats and loves the attention. I hope this stuff doesn't harm her. We haven't seen Socks again, by the way. I set her down on the counter and get a little of the sample and apply it gently to one of her legs. She seems a bit put out, but she's still purring. That's a good sign. I wait about 20 minutes and nothing has happened. Hopefully, another good sign. I apply a little more to the back of her neck this time. I feel really uncomfortable doing this without any recommended dosage or guidelines. Flying blind goes against all of my training to date, but I have to have faith that the professor knows what he's doing. This is his project after all. After another 20 minutes, I don't notice anything physical. Although Muffin does seem a little more energetic than usual, she's happily chasing my pen across the counter. I wrestle the pen out of her grip and make some notes of my observations and place her gently back in her crate. I decide to spend the night in the lab. I don't want to leave her alone, just in case anything happens, but by 4 AM, Muffin is sleeping soundly and I can't keep my eyes open any longer, so I head back to my tent. Yay, research 8! I've come to the forest to gather my thoughts. This morning I noticed another change in my appearance. Up until now it's been easy to cover up my transition. I just had to keep on top of removing the excess body hair. Even the stub of a tail that appeared a few days ago hasn't been a problem. Who would see it? But this new development is definitely a turning point. How am I going to explain the fact that my pupils have turned into vertical slits? I can't risk anyone seeing me like this, so I'm going to hide out for a while and see what happens. Sometime later. Looking around, I don't remember ever being happier. I'm laying here in the forest with Kibbles, reading the new edition of Kanashi Boy. Oh, Dennis! We look so cute! Look at my little hand! Are you ever going to tell me how you managed to get a hold of these books? Yeah, I could. Really? Finally? But then I'll have to kill you. Nya. We're interrupted by the familiar sound of the ferry arriving at the pier. It seems my replacement has already arrived. That must be the new research assistant. Want to go and annoy them? Kibbles never gets tired of being Kibbles. No, you go if you like. I'm going to have a nap in a minute. Yeah, me too. It's hard work, all this reading. There was a time I would have thought he was being ridiculous, but these days I have to agree. It's the pages. Turning pages is surprisingly taxing with pause. I feel so lucky that's the only thing I have to complain about. My life really is charmed. I now know that I made the right decision. It used to worry me. I felt guilty about giving up my work on the antidote. I resisted the urge to join Kibbles and the rest of the gang for as long as possible, but I think a small part of me always knew I would give in eventually. Now I have no regrets. None of the other cats blame me. They're happy for Kibbs and I. We're one big family. Want to go cliff hopping later? After sleep, ovs. I'm happy to do whatever you want, Kibbs. Really? Of course. Okay. Give me a making biscuits massage while I fall asleep, would ya? I roll over and open one eye to see Kibbles has the broadest grin on his face. I swish him with my tail and drift off into a blissful sleep. There we go. I got all the dates with Kibbles correct. Wonderful. We're in a relationship with Kibbles. We're doing great. I achieved the ending player 2. Oh my goodness. But that is going to be the end of the stream and the end of Purrfect Date. Thank you so much for joining me today. Whether you lurked, you chatted, you popped in for a moment, or you're watching this on YouTube, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please let me know down below if we should romance Trixie, or it would be Ravenpaw who would be next. Or I think if there's another cat and the other cat. Let me know who we should romance next. I'll be excited to find out. Next stream of this, next Friday, I think we'll be able to finish this game. It's going to be pretty cool. Ravenpaw, she is so cute. I really hope that we've properly unlocked her. It's going to be good. But we should find somebody to raid. YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and stay cozy until I see you again.